all right. What's going on, everybody? Ooh, we are running a bit skinny tonight. That's okay. The name's on the screen. I haven't updated this in a while. Fun story. I got a little bit of extra time off today from work, and so I have put a little bit of time into the channel and had a little bit of extra time to do so. Was able to get this list updated, was able to do a couple other things, reached out to the person who is working with the new graphics and everything for the channel. Really exciting stuff. But this right here, these people on the screen, they are folks who either have gotten gifted members, but I really want to point out that first row and some of that second row, those are the ones who have been giving, they've been gifting to the channel the entire time it has been around. And so really appreciate those guys. We call them the sleeve monkeys here. That might be changing because that is from somebody who barely even, like, I never even see him in the chat anymore. And so, like, want to just kind of make up our own thing here and go at the beat of our own drum. No longer let these gaming whims carry us from one platform to another, or what have you. I don't know. I was trying to be waxing poetic there. Who knows? Anyways, these guys right here, the Kipling's Lounge, Ace, Quadruple, Zero Thrifters, that's right. Josh Ayers, Gaming Grindhouse, Jez7780, GMG, Twisted Sin, Steven Leon, also known as Dritz1971, Warawana, JC2013, Hero Down Under, Ron M, Henry Heck, Mark Carter, Maniolis, Craig the Tech Guy, Kushpreet Baggery, Adam Bader, Man Overboard, All in TV, Shadow the Ghost, Nelson's Gaming Culture, David, James Williams, Lunchy Sky, Marty McFly, Joseph Lampron, Iron Man 4292, and Priscilla T. Thank y'all so much. Reason why I include everybody, whether you get a gifted or whether you're a paying member of the channel, is because no matter what, even if you're a gifted member, listen, you had to subscribe to get that. So I truly appreciate it. Thank you so much. Hit that subscribe button while we're talking about it. Hit the like button. Share this out. There are 5 people in here. Share this out. Now, I know I kind of started a little quick. I normally let it run for about 10 minutes, but tonight's show is going to be amazing. We have some really cool topics, really awesome guests. We have the headliner himself tonight, Jez7780, in the house, and we have the financial guru from Australia all the way, flew him in. No, I didn't fly him in, but through technology, I got him here, and his name is Faulkie. You know him, you love him. It's gonna be awesome. We have so much stuff to talk about tonight. I hope that y'all have been hearing all of this, because if not, that would be really bad. There's a ton of stuff to talk about tonight. We're going to try to keep it condensed down. So I have been opening up the past several weeks with just a regular ass gaming topic. Just talk about games. And so tonight on the docket, we got addicting games. Games that are just addictive. They can be hi-fi, or they can be high-res, low-res, they can be 8-bit, 16-bit, 4K, whatever. We are going to be talking about gameplay loops. And this all kind of started because I started playing Grand Blue Fantasy Relink. And as I was playing it, y'all can go watch the 2 streams of it. As I was playing it, I was like, man, this game absolutely feels like a mobile title. The way, not in a bad way, but like in the way the missions are designed, in the way like they give you that instant gratification after a mission where they rate you. You have certain little quick missions where you can go do them. 15 minutes, you're in, you're out, bada bing, bada boom, you get your stuff done, get all your stuff, and you get a letter grade at the end. And you get multipliers. And it all feels very MMO. So much so that my 2 kids were watching me play it earlier today, because like I said, I got some time off today. And they were watching me play Grand Blue, and they were like, my oldest goes, this looks kind of like Genshin Impact, but better. And I was like, you know what? I can see how he would make that correlation. Because it does. It kind of looks like Genshin Impact, but better. He was watching me pick from the huge roster because I got to recruit my first new person. So yeah, anyways. Dizzy Delta said, I'm Thrifty, I'm debating on picking up Grand Blue from the sale since you've been playing it. Has it gotten stale yet? No, dude. It's so fun. You need to pick it up. It is a blast. I absolutely love it. Also, the game does one of the things that I love the most is it lets you dive into the lore as much or as little as you want to. There are cutscenes, but there's this area you can go to in kind of the main hub where she'll give you quests, but there you can also do what's called fate quests, I believe is what they're called. And those quests are usually audio dialogue where it tells you something about the character's backstory. So right now, with where I'm at in the game, I'm just now to the point of like getting everybody's backstory about how they came to be with the captain and how they became like with the ship and everything. So it's really cool. And when you get new characters, their fate tree opens up as well. So like you can dive completely into that, or you can do what I did with a couple of the characters I didn't give two rats' asses about, and just hit X all the way through them, just so you can get the little icon away. Like, it lets you dive in as much or as little as you want, and that's fantastic. What is up, Hero Down Under? You have made it. Guys, I swear to God, share this crap out. I don't know where the hell everybody is tonight. So, let's get back to the topics at hand. We got addictive games. We got Helldivers 2 on Xbox. We got Sea of Thieves in trouble. We got PS Plus Extra is great and Premium is pretty much bad. Ghost of Yotei State of Play is tomorrow. But shout out to Warawana. I hope that that everything he saw today from Lost Soul Aside gets him to purchase the game. He said he's getting a little bit more keen on it. So he shared this in the Discord, and this is actually where we're going to start is Lost Soul Aside. Got some gameplay footage, so I'm just going to be playing that while we kind of talk about it. F Extra Life said that it is kind of like DMC meets Final Fantasy, which, funny enough, I thought that's what Final Fantasy 16 was supposed to be. It was supposed to be DMC meets Final Fantasy, but, you know, whatever, right? Whatever. We're gonna run it back and do it again. But I cannot do any of this, properly at least, without the help of awesome individuals. Some of you awesome individuals in the chat have gotten a message from me saying, hey, I have these slots open. Go ahead, respond back to that message. If you're new or if you haven't been on the show before and you've been here a long time and you're like, man, I got something to say, join the Discord. The link is in the description, and hit me up. We'll make it work. I love having new people on here. It's one of my most fun things to do. I love getting members of the community on here. I don't care if you're just a subscriber. I don't care if you gift $85 every 2 seconds this thing is live. I love having new people, new voices. The voice that we have tonight, though, the voice that has not gotten held up because of work, is Jez7780. Jez, how are you, sir?
Yo, what's up? I'm on time. That's right. I'm on time. I come in a half hour late now, man. It's been crazy getting back into the swing of things, man. It's just been thanks for letting me on tonight, because yeah, it's been I was trying to get my own show started up, but man, after that show on Monday, I was like, I'm trying to catch up things with work, so it's been tough, after you've been off for work, yeah.
Dude, the message I sent you on X, you can't leave ever again.
Dude, yeah, I know. Like, I went on vacation. It was like I would have had like a show every day last week. It was crazy, all the stuff that was going on. I would have lost my voice.
You are no longer allowed to take any time off.
I can't take any vacation.
Everything.
Well, next time is November, so we'll see what happens. I leave in November for a week, so we'll see what happens then. November,
and
hopefully.
So we'll start off doing the proper and doing everything right here. What have you been playing since you've been back? Or you said you've been trying to play catch up. So
yeah, I played. I brought my handheld with me on the cruise because you couldn't do the portal because there was I was on a cruise, so there was no internet. So I just did some handheld gaming. Basically, I played a bunch of my retro games, like, I have them on there. I played like NHL and stuff like that. I didn't play too much, but right now I did Death Stranding right before I left, and I've been playing Death Stranding today and playing Rematch again. Talking about addicting games, man. Rematch is kind of like it's the game where you just, oh no, hold on, this guy's in. Oh, I just made a big save in overtime. Hold on. Anyway, so like this game I'm addicted to it, and
see,
it's sort of like
when you're not the host, you can do that type of crap, and it makes me so
I
jealous.
know, that's what
it makes me
I know.
So jealous.
And they scored on me. Never mind, the team hates me now. But yeah, no, and yeah, sorry about that. But no, I did. I've been playing Rematch, Death Stranding. I'm just mesmerized by how incredible that game looks. The detail is insane in that game and Death Stranding too. So, I haven't been streaming it because I don't want to have any spoilers. I watched some of your stream, that Grand Blue Fantasy. I know somebody was asking about it.
Dude, it's so fun.
That was my favorite game from last year. And what's crazy, I knew nothing about it. I played the demo. I loved the demo so much. I bought the game and I beat it. It is friggin' incredible. I love that game. That game is awesome.
It's
and
really
I really
fun.
don't play. And it was like, it's a gotcha game. I'm like, I have no clue what the hell it is. All I know is that it's you fight these huge boss fights. It's incredible.
Yeah.
It is like a boss run. Like there's not a lot of grind. There's grinding with the characters in the sense where if you want to level them up, but there's not a lot of. It's sort of like you have these huge, incredible spectacles, and then you have these incredible, multifaceted boss fights.
The game is also really good about giving you enough resource. Like, I'll look and I'll be like, holy shit, I got 75 mastery points. I can throw these things somewhere.
It keeps feeding you. Yeah. It does not make, you don't have to do side missions you don't have to grind in that sense, but you do get like other characters and stuff like that. And the story is pretty damn cool too. I really like the story.
The side missions are fun though. They're super short. Like it's, hey, do you want to go here and do the thing? Yes, let me go.
And you fight a couple of boss. Yeah, and it looks really good too. And I think they've definitely improved that. I played it in performance mode. I don't know if it looks any better. But the boss fights are crazy. The mechanics that you do and the cinematics that happen when you hit your ultimates and stuff like that.
Oh my god, dude! I was just about to talk about that. The ultimates,
the screen is about to go crazy.
The freaking ultimates, man! Especially when you line them all up and you get all of them, and then they all finish at the floor with like the break where every like picture is there. Oh, it's freaking sick, dude! It reminded me of Trails from Zero, because when you hit your arts in Trails from Zero, when you hit your special one, if everybody's gauges were full, it would do that like screen break where it showed
the
all
screen
of
break.
them. Yeah, oh my god, it felt like it was just a newer version of those kind of games, and so I'm in it. I really have been enjoying it.
Oh, I can't believe you didn't play it before. Like when you're like, this is my first time playing Grand Blue.
Because that was, if I'm not mistaken, it was super close to Final Fantasy and super close to
February. It came out like January, February.
Yeah.
Last year.
I think Final Fantasy came out in March.
Yeah, it was like a month or so later. Yeah.
And I didn't want to burn my third new game of the year, and I already had Stellar Blade and Final Fantasy as two of them, and so I wanted to.
Oh, I know. Trust me, I went through. I had to finish Grand Blue before Stellar Blade. Yeah, because Grand Blue came out, then it was Stellar Blade, and then Final Fantasy. That was kind of like, it was crazy. I still never beat Final Fantasy yet.
Oh my god. I still think about going back to that game just to go have fun and play as Tifa and beat the shit out of people. Like,
it's just, I love Tifa in that game.
They improved her combat so much over the first one, and they actually improved a lot of
and
stuff.
she gets the limits real quick too. Like her AP like thing fills up real fast.
Anybody who's like, hey man, I'm really thinking about playing Remake or Rebirth. Do I need to play Remake? And I'm like, nah, don't worry about it. Just go over to Rebirth.
Yeah, well, I beat Remake right before Rebirth. I finished it up. I was like right at the at the tower at the end, and then I finished that up right before Rebirth came out.
Yeah.
Rebirth. Yeah.
Rebirth, Remake, Remaster,
Jesus.
whatever. It's. I knew what you meant.
It's just called like 1, 2. Yeah, it's crazy, but yeah.
They try to be so creative with their names, but
and the combat's so much better in the second one.
It is so much better. Okay, so speaking of all this type of stuff, this all plays in to gameplay loops, right? This all plays into that addictive thing that keeps us coming back. And I'm not talking about like a story-driven game, even though those do have at times some really good gameplay loops. I'm talking about more of the game that you're sitting down playing and going, I never in a million freaking years thought I would like this game, but I can't put it down. Like a Balatro. Like you start playing it and 5 minutes later it's been an hour and a half. Like
yeah, I got one.
Okay. What's yours?
Rocket League.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, dude, I put that on everything, and that is like my go-to. Just kind of, if I gotta play a game, I go right to Rocket League. And you know what's crazy is that I had the Xbox. I never had it on PlayStation. I got it on PC. And I never really cared for it too much. Like my son just loved it so much, but he got into really competitively, and he got me into it. And then he showed me how to do all the air stuff, the juggles. I'm still not that great at it, but I got better at it. And we would do tournaments, and we would sign up for tournaments and do the tournaments together. And yeah, it's sort of like that's been like I just now get hooked on it. I just play it.
That's
So,
awesome.
that's
Hero
like
said
my
there's
one.
no wonder why Jez likes rematch. I was wondering too, but if you're a
Yeah.
Rocket League guy, that makes complete and total sense.
Yeah, Rocket League, NHL, like hockey, like for some reason, like those kind of sports, like the hockey, the like hockey, soccer, those are like I love those kind of games. Like I just, especially the arcadey ones. Like
So let me
I
ask
just,
you a question. Are
there's
you
time
musically
wasters for me.
inclined?
Yeah,
Okay, so like you're musically inclined, like you can
grindhouse
play an
music.
instrument.
No, yes,
Okay.
I play trombone.
Oh, okay, cool. So you're used to having your two hands doing something different, off key, like so playing the drums, right? You have
Mhm.
three things that have to happen all at once: left hand, right hand, and actually four things, and both feet, right?
Yeah,
I love music. I can't play the drums to save my damn life. I got no rhythm. My brain, when you get into games like Rocket League or like the way you described rematch, my brain sees that control scheme and like it tweaks it, and it's like my brain just goes numb and it doesn't work. It's like when I try to play the drums, like with my two hands, left
Really?
and right, I can do some.
So
pretty
you're
cool-
left-brained, basically.
Probably. I can do some.
You're like
pretty...
a reading things like that more so than math. Or
Oh
something
God,
like that?
no. I'm a math dude. I love math.
Okay, so maybe I don't know. That's crazy that
I
you
can't
associate
keep
with
rhythm to
musically
save my life.
inclined.
But I love music.
So you don't like rhythm games at all?
Not ones that like Guitar Hero. I can
Rocket,
play
like
it on,
Guitar
like, a medium.
Hero.
I can't do
Okay.
a Guitar Hero on anything higher than that because I can't
Alright.
get my fingers to do different things at the same time that my other hand's supposed to be doing something else.
Yeah.
They just so
Yeah, see, I love rhythm games, but I'm not no like expert at this stuff. But like I would like like I said, the VR ones, I love the rhythm games and stuff like that. I
Yeah.
play tons of those. And Rock Band and all that stuff. I love those.
Oh shoot! Speaking of loving games, Faulkie, how are you, sir?
I'm good. How are
Yo,
you?
what's up,
Sorry,
man?
mate. Hey, Jez, how we going, mate?
You're late this time. Yes, it wasn't me. Nah.
I had a note. I have a note, and I did warn him.
Oh, I didn't do any of that. Oops.
So no, it's actually.
He's like,
worse
where the
with
hell
Jez.
are you? You
So-
said you were gonna be here.
So Faulkie treats this like it's like a full event and shit. And like, so Faulkie will give you like he does what I do because I'm so terrified that somebody's just gonna be pissed off at me. That's probably not why he does it. He probably does it out of professional courtesy. But like he messages and was like, hey man, I got meetings and shit. I was like, oh, okay, cool. Like, no problem. That's fine. I got 10 minutes to 15 minutes of bullshit that I say at the beginning anyways. I don't care.
Yeah.
And so
Mhm.
he did call in. It's an excused tardy. It's fine.
All right.
Speaking of excused tardies, I had to miss out on work today. Speaking of doctor's notes and shit like that, I ended up tearing my Achilles.
No.
Yeah, it's a
How the hell you
partial.
do that?
It's a partial tear on the interior portion of the Achilles.
Oh crap!
Yep, I am now in a boot.
Holy crap! How'd you do it?
I don't know, man. I'm a dude.
Just walking?
and I'm a stubborn idiot. So just factor those two things in. I'm a dude and I'm stubborn. October, November of last year, I tweaked it and did something. I thought it was my work boots because I'm HVAC tech. So like I thought it
Yeah.
was my work boots just hitting the back of my heel and like bruising it or something. So I switched work boots. Well, that didn't help. I switched work boots again in like February at that point. That didn't help. I iced it. I did some things that my buddy was telling me to do because his dad was a full licensed physical therapist for like 50 years. And so he obviously picked up some secondhand stuff. So finally, it's to the point now where like waking up in the morning and putting my foot down and like taking that first step, like a sharp searing pain in the back of my ankle. So like
Oh my god!
this morning I went in And God bless the doctor, man. When he like rubbed his freaking knuckle across the back of my ankle, I about punched the shit out of the guy. I felt so bad. Like it was just knee-jerk reaction. I kicked my leg up, and he goes, "Oh, okay, I won't do that again." And I was like, "Yeah, please don't. That hurt. My bad." Like,
Wow.
and so, yeah. Speaking of doctor's notes,
Me
I
too.
have one. It's all right, Faulkie. I know you play some stupid games. I know you play some like stupid good games, is what I mean by that. So, you played Dave the Diver for like the better part of a month or so, if not longer. You've done a few of the expansions for it. That is a game that definitely has that addiction, that gameplay loop to it. Can you talk about that a little bit? Like what about that? First, I want to know, is that a type of game that you would normally be drawn to? And uh,
Oh, um,
go ahead.
no, finish your question.
Okay,
'Cause,
so
you're
it
gonna do what
one.
you. I feel like you're gonna do what Doom does, is ask me 6 questions in
Nope,
one.
just two, just two, just two.
Just 2. Okay.
The Also, I need to get that dude over here. I miss talking with him. Anyways, um, so the
Dave the Diver.
Dave the Diver. Thank you. Is it a game like a game style, a game type that you normally play? And if it's not, did you stick around solely because of the gameplay? And that's it. 2 questions.
So the first part of it, is it something I would normally play? No, it's not. Only because I don't know how to extrapolate on that one. So I'm not great at side scrollers. I enjoy the game's got to be good to get me to stay in it. So I'm not really good with side scrollers, and there's plenty of them that I've played for a bit and then just put them down. Yeah, it's fun, but I'm just no good at it. It's like first-person shooters. I suck at them. I don't mind them. I like some of the games, but I'm so horrible at playing them. Fighting games is another one. I get wound up way too quickly, so I don't play them. I don't end up enjoying them.
I love fighting games too.
And you can ask my son. He's seen me erupt and throw controllers. He thinks it's hilarious, and he tries to bait me in on purpose. But anyway, Smash Brothers can go do one. He kicks my ass in that so badly, and I can never see anything on the screen. I'm getting too old. Anyway, so Dave the Diver popped up. It's Dredge was probably more of a game that I would normally play than Dave the Diver. However, I also like playing heaps different indie games, and I do, as I say, I do play side scrollers and 2D side scrollers and 3D 2.5D side scrolls and whatnot. So I'll give a game a chance and have a bit of fun with it. But if I can stick with it and it doesn't give me too much grief, then I'm good for it, right? Dave the Diver popped up, and I'll give it a crack. Looks pretty good. Developers got some good stuff. People are telling me good things. Jumped in, played it. The gameplay loop was perfect. It was not challenging in a sense that you were constantly having to battle things. It wasn't difficult for me to depth perception because you're either just moving left and right, up or down. It had inventory management. It had a skill tree development that wasn't too fast paced or too under paced, and you didn't have to keep your skill tree improvements to be able to progress the story. But the gameplay, to the second part of it, is the gameplay loop that kept getting me time and time again, because it's inventory management, fetch quests, and that sort of stuff, but a storyline carrying on in the background. But it kept moving. So daytime, afternoon, evening, and it wasn't just dive in, get the stuff, bring it back, and off you go. It was dive in, get the stuff. There's other things down there that you can do, and you can be 10 minutes or you can be as long as you like. There's no definite period on it, and explore. And it changed. The levels changed depending on and not changed every time, but you sort of had 8 or 10 different maps, so to speak, that you could investigate. And you sort of got used to remembering, oh, well, the sunken wreck's over here. There's a big monstrous shark down there. You can pick these fish or these things from over here. So you could start, feeding that in with your sushi restaurant and then getting expansion done. So it sort of becomes a few different games in one. What I loved about it was the boss fights. And and I found this in the Plucky Squire as well. The boss fights were sort of a callback to different retro style game things. Like some of them were, usual 2D, you go and hit or shoot or whatever it is. Different weapons, different tasks, but you sort of had to think with some of the boss fights. You had to think of it like this. Other boss fights were like the old blasters shooter. You just stand there with a gun and you just keep firing away, and kind of like Rezo gun or something, one of those sort of the old blasters in the arcade. It just all you could do was move up and down, just to avoid what was hitting, or a little bit more around that. But it wasn't like you had to pump 30 or 40 hours into the game just to grind out a result. The pacing of it was great. The gameplay loop, you could go and do a 10-minute dive, or you could do an hour and a half dive, depending on how much time you had. And it was always progressing something. And I just loved it. It hooked me because it was addictive if you're a person who likes to ferret around and find stuff and explore everything. It presented that, but with a slight challenge to it. You had to be conscious about how much air you had, how deep you could go. If you wanted to go deep, you had to, improve it. It hooked me, and I could have played it forever. Honestly, could have played it forever.
See, so I played it for a little bit on your recommendation. There were several other people who talked about it, but hearing you talk about it that night that you were on the show, I was like, man, okay, I'm gonna give it a try. And I tried it, and the fishing felt annoying as hell. But and Josh and I were just kind of talking about this in the chat, the actual like dinner dash section was awesome. I love those type of games. Like, I shit you not, on mobile, those are games that I've always played like through the what I call the hook in phase, where like they give you like the first 10 levels of it, and like then to get anything else, any more expansions, you have to like pay money to unlock the full game. I've done so many of those. There's one that you make pizzas, there's one where you make lattes, there's another one where you make donuts. Like, I love that kitchen management shit. Like, it's so fun for me. It's a freaking wonder I've never played Overcooked. Like, because back when I used to play a lot of mobile games, those were the games that I played. I played those like kitchen games. I did not like the aiming in the underwater when you're going to hunt fish. That the aiming kept frustrating me.
Yeah, that's.
Does that make sense? Like it was annoying.
It does. It does, and this is probably like it's similar to like with Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I hated the combat. And other people loved it. But it's sometimes it's personal preference. I found in Dave the Diver, with the harpoon gun, the random upgrades you could get could really make or break your dive. But when you upgraded the gun, it became much more powerful. But the actual, so that's the harpoon gun. But the actual guns themselves, I just upgraded the sniper rifle and stuck with that, and tended to run away from the big nasties more frequently. But I found as you progressed through upgrading your meal offerings and all that with the sushi restaurant, I was having to do less and less fishing. Because as you progress through the levels, you get higher and higher quality bits and pieces, and then you can, sort of do less fishing, and the focus of the diving becomes less around the fishing and more around the, fetch this, get that, or progressing the storyline. So, how far did you get? Did you get to the underwater people or the glacier?
Bro,
or
I got to the point where you do the tutorial, you go back up, you finish the tutorial, and then it lets you go back down. And I did one more night, and then I went back down the next day, and I kept missing these fucking fish. And I was like, this is annoying as shit. I do not want to deal with this. If I want to play something that keeps making me go back and do stuff, there's Hades. There's the new Turtles game that I just did a review on. Like, there are so many other roguelike games, or games that put that type of element of just rinse and repeat in, that I literally was like, if they would have had it to where it wasn't a twin stick style shooter underwater, I think that would have done me a lot of good, because even Nex Machina, which I think is a super fun game, I can't play much of it because the twin stick aspect of it frustrates the shit out of me. And if nobody knows, Nex Machina was one of Housemarque's first games. And if you go play it, funny enough, you can kind of see a shit ton of influence.
Yeah, it had like the voxels in it, right?
Yes.
That don't do all
Yes.
the voxels, yeah.
Yes, and it also had all like the bullet hell stuff in it too. Like,
Yep.
it's almost the way I described it. Nex Machina is almost like if you took Returnal and just lifted the camera. Like, just change the angle. That's all you have to do, and boom, you have Nex Machina. Now, that's a bit reductive, but like, generally speaking, that's all they did, and they did a phenomenal job of it. I'm not downplaying Returnal. It's the best game that I can't beat. Like, but like, those type of games, to me at least, when you talk about gameplay mechanics, for me, they have to be something that I can actually do. Like, that's why I love the Turtles game so much, because it was a game that even though you died a lot, every single time you died, you felt like you progressed the story enough. Or not the story, sorry. You felt like you progressed your attributes enough. So you'd go back, you spend your Splinter points, you'd spend your Destiny points, your Dreamer points, or whatever the hell they were called, and you would get these upgrades that permanently enhanced you, and then you'd go back and do it again, you get a little further, and it was always satisfying. Jez and I were talking about this, I think, before you got here with Grand Blue Fantasy Relink. There's always this satisfaction at the end of a quest where they do this like rating system where it's like, oh yeah, you beat the quest, but how good did you beat the quest? And but the quest wasn't that hard. It was just go in, kill a ton of stuff, and move on. And like, I love gameplay loops like that where they're good enough to keep me coming back, but not hard enough to make me have to think. Like, I know that sounds weird, but
oh, but that's something that all gaming companies usually shouldn't say all, most gaming companies are chasing, is a loop that keeps you coming back. Call of Duty is. So, but I mean, talking about Dave the Diver, I enjoyed that one a lot. I thought the Plucky Squire was a great game as well. I got a lot of nostalgia hits out of playing the Plucky Squire, even though it was a totally different game. But Dredge, I loved that. That one was right up my alley. Again, it has strict inventory management. It's got some a storyline that sort of chugs along in the background. It doesn't force you at a pace, and it doesn't hold you back. And it's got some other bits and pieces there around customizations and whatnot that you've got to work towards by doing certain things. But again, it's horses for courses, and some people enjoy certain loops and some don't. That's the beauty of having different ways of doing it.
Yeah, and it really is, like Jez was talking about Rematch. That is a game that he's describing, and Hero hit it on the head where he's like, oh yeah, he likes Rocket League. No wonder he likes Rematch. And I'm sitting here going, dude, what you've described is giving me heart palpitations. I don't think I'm ever playing that game. Like, it's making me go, wait, I have to do this, I have to focus on that, and this, and that, and that. My brain is, by the time I get to my PlayStation at the end of the night, my brain is so fried, I'm not trying to think about a control scheme. The hardest part about Grand Blue Fantasy Relink is that I can't change the stupid, I can't change the lock-on to R3 and the map to R2. Or to L2. Sorry, I can't just swap them because you can't do controller mapping on it. The most annoying thing about the game, because my brain, my little pea brain that I have, keeps going, hey, dummy, when you want to lock onto an opponent, you click R3, and then you move R3 left and right to cycle between the opponents. Cool. This game looks at you and goes, no, we didn't do that. No, we didn't. Every other game in the world does that. We didn't do that. And you're like, well, shit, thanks. Appreciate you. Like, Helldivers 2 was a good example. That's one of our topics tonight, actually. The fact that you have to reload your own weapon threw me off for so many hours in that game.
Yeah.
Thankfully, the reload button was assigned to the proper button on the controller, and so it didn't throw me off that bad. But I remember playing with Jez when you left me with the fucking helicopter, you jerk. I remember playing with Jez, and I was like, my gun's not shooting, and someone else was like, have you reloaded? I was like, fuck, no, I haven't reloaded. It doesn't do it automatically. And so I felt real dumb. Anyways, Michael Meridian, what is up, dude? I've got 160 hours in Blueprints. That's an addictive game. Can't stop playing it. Hey, guys. Yeah, man. Josh, did you see Moore's Law is Dead clip going on about Xbox and Microsoft? Seems Jez's fears about his library on Xbox are justified. I think going forward, the fears are justified because you can't license it out and have it work on a fucking PC. Which is what these are, which is why we're not covering it, because we kind of beat that dead horse for the past 6 weeks. It's a freaking PC. Anyways, it's a ROG
Unless
Ally.
they do something crazy. Unless they're doing something crazy. Listen, I have no clue they're doing, but I don't know if they're gonna make. And one of the things, I don't want to take this topic, but one of the things I was thinking about is if they do make another console to just kind of satisfy the people that have those Xbox libraries, because they can't just make a PC, right? Think about what the sales are going to be. Who's going to be out there going, okay, well, this is their last one. Let me go buy this console. And are you going to buy games on it? Because, who's going to go out there for the last hurrah and buy that? Because I've been hearing people go, well, they're going to make one more console. Who the hell's lining up for that one? It's like the end of days. Who's lining up for the apocalypse? Are you going to really buy that console, go, well, this is their last generation, and I'm going to go and give them my credit card and buy a library of games that I don't know where they're going to be? Who's lining up for the apocalypse? I don't get it. If I knew that this was the last generation, I would not even, they're not buying it now. Why would they buy, oh, well, they're going to do one more. Who's buying that?
Listen. Who's
buying it?
I'm going to tell you this. It's really funny watching the two companies seemingly try to self-implode each other.
I know.
Self-implode
it's
themselves
wild.
and make their player bases go, you know what? We don't really fucking need the console. Let's just...
I was listening to this year and stuff, and I was like, the thing is, though, is I understand that they're both doing this stuff, but Xbox is 0-16 and PlayStation's 14-2.
This is so true. That is true.
PlayStation got some L's, but man, Xbox is just stacking them. But it's because that's what happens. It's you got people going well, you know what? Well, Sony's losing too. It's dude, 14-2. You guys are 0-16.
14. So this is what was so weird to me. And we can just jump on into Helldivers 2, because it was, and I covered this a bit last night on my gameplay stream, where I was just kind of chit-chatting with the audience. That's it. Nothing major. We didn't go over any articles, anything like that. Just kind of my thoughts on it. And it was really weird. And Jez, I watched your show the day after, and you kind of hit on a lot of really good points when you were like, I mean, it's just weird. Even if it is, hey, it's just a live service title. Even if all the things and all the excuses and all the reasons are all true on the PlayStation side, it's a live service title. The Arrowhead was the one that wanted it. They only had a limited time exclusive, full-on exclusive deal with them. If any of these rumors are true, awesome. It's still freaking weird. You can't.
It's not the first time. It's not the first time PlayStation's had games over on Xbox. It's not the first time PlayStation's published a game not on their console. Rephrase that. PlayStation in the past has published a game on PC before they put it on their own console. So,
but they never made an Xbox game with their IP. They never made
an Xbox game.
This is their IP.
Yeah,
they own
Helldivers. And they're not being strong-armed by the MLB.
Therein lies the point. PlayStation had rights to the IP when they first did the deal to publish it, right?
Mm-hmm.
We don't know if there's an expiry date on that, but it's not the first time PlayStation's let IP sunset and go back to the original owner. It was after Helldivers had its massive popularity that Tencent bought 15% of Arrowhead.
That's true.
So that begs the question: what's changed in the last couple of months since Tencent bought into Arrowhead for this to be the outcome? PlayStation's, if they've still got rights to the IP, they'll get money out of this for nothing, assuming that it sells. But again, it's not going into Game Pass. It's going for sale, full price, and you've got to have a paid for paid for Game Pass core subscription to be able to play this thing online. So unless you're going to run around and do nothing because you can't get online without the paid core subscription, PlayStation is going to get something out of this for basically saying to Tencent, yes, okay, we'll allow Arrowhead to do this. PlayStation has said nothing effectively about this at all. It's all come from Arrowhead, and this is off the back of...
And no, it came from Nixxes, too.
Yeah, and
that's their first-party studio.
It is, but it's their first-party studio for doing what?
Porting games.
Porting games to PC. So if the outcome of this is that PlayStation's getting a royalty or feed money back for doing this, and it might have been part of the deal anyway, we don't know, and we'll probably never know. But PlayStation's already made their money, and the tail sales are effectively nothing, so why wouldn't PlayStation just say, right, cool, no dramas, sunset the clause, you guys can do whatever you like with that IP, but we already made our big dollars off it.
I think somebody said in my comments, why do you don't feed the roaches? It's like,
what are they gonna
the
get?
lowest
20,
install base.
30,000
Like,
sales?
I would say it would make sense if they put Helldivers 2 on the Switch, because that is a big install base to make some money.
Correct.
Why are you putting it on the lowest install base? First, the consoles are hard to find. They're expensive as hell. They're year over year they're declining. The whole Xbox install base is so small, and you got to put Helldivers, which didn't look super sharp on the base PS5, on the bootleg S. Like, you had to make the Nixxes work on the S. Like, man, like, I'm just sort of like, boggles my mind.
Well, it's it's a good point you raised, though. I mean, I am sort of curious to know is what exactly is Nixxes mucking around doing?
Right?
Did they port it? Did they port the PlayStation version to try and turn it into an Xbox console version, or did they take the PC Steam version and just convert that over to a Windows version, and then they're going to do that, I don't know, Xbox can play anywhere software trick that they do, where you can take a PC game and run it on your console?
Well, I guess not, because everybody seems to have problem. Like Wukong, the S has been the delay of a lot of games, even though if they're PC versions of them.
Isn't it funny? I'm having a chuckle about this because it's crossed my mind a couple of times. Wouldn't it be funny if the only people that can get that thing to work properly is PlayStation?
Yo, I can't wait to see Helldivers 2 on bootleg. On the goddamn the Series S, like, I don't know what Helldivers 2 is. It's gonna look like the first game. It'll be top down.
It will run like shit.
It's just, I don't know. Like, I just think it is a very strange move by them.
It doesn't seem.
And
like
the timing of it as well.
But it doesn't seem like something that PlayStation is driven to. I'd say it's something they've been led to and to agree to. But again, Tencent would be putting some pressure on it. Well,
but how would Tencent do that, though? Because they own Arrowhead?
Well, they've got a 15% investment in any company really will get you a seat at the table. And that would make you the large, like, other than those who privately own that organization, it'll get some kind of leverage. But if Tencent and PlayStation work extremely well together, and they're partnered up on a huge amount of deals. So it wouldn't be difficult to say, hey, look, we'll fund it. We'll pay for it to be done. We just need Nixxes to do it, because you've obviously got all the details and all the information. We'll pay for it to be ported over. We just want to chuck it over there. But it's one of those funny things, and I understand what you're saying, and I'm not disagreeing with you, but I'm just putting this out as food for thought. Xbox has, for a long time, been known as a multiplayer place, right? They prefer multiplayer games, and they tend to their consumer base tends to enjoy multiplayer games the most. Having said that, when was the last time you got one of these sort of games for multiplayer on an Xbox console? It's been a while. They've been screaming for it. So even if they get 1 million players buy it, that's still a pretty decent uplift. If they only get 100,000 buy it, well, they won't do it again. And it won't be PlayStation that's out of pocket for this. If they get 1 million sales over there, and even if it performs like shit, and they get 1 million people on Xbox consoles buying it and playing it, that's a decent chunk of cash coming in for PlayStation for having effectively done not much. Will it lead to more games going over there? Probably not. But
I think so.
Uh,
I think.
hang
I
on, real
think.
quick, guys. Real
Yeah,
quick.
I don't
Dizzy
know.
Delta, where'd you can't purchase? Oh, you're talking about Resogun. Never mind, guys. Continue. I thought Dizzy
No.
said you can't purchase it digitally, and I was like, wait, you can't purchase Helldivers 2 digitally on an Xbox? Wait, what? Sorry, he was talking about
No, it
something else
is.
from
There's
the
no
chat.
physical.
My bad.
And there's no physical, I think, either. It's just digital. But yeah, I don't know. Like, I just think it's the strangest thing because it's yeah, I can understand the audience possibly being there, but I just don't. I just
That
think the
audience
amount
doesn't
of
buy
like
shit. They bitch
exactly.
every time.
That's the other
They bitch
thing.
every time a big
It's not
third-party
in Game
company
Pass.
comes
It's
over.
not in.
No.
Yeah,
They
and it's
bitch
not in Play
constantly. Why
Anywhere.
is this not coming to Game Pass? Why is it, I'm not going to play it if it's not in Game Pass. I'm not going to play it if it's not in Game Pass. Like, why? Why would you
They
waste
must
your
buy
time?
something. They must buy something. If the subscription services make up less than 20% of Xbox's gaming revenue, that means the other 80% is made up of something being sold.
Dude, they bitched
And
about Final
they-
Fantasy so long. It's finally there, and
I mean-
nobody, it's not even.
Look, I'm not sitting here saying
It
he's
is
going to do
crazy.
numbers. And everyone says, oh, it's a spreadsheet assessment, and they're basically going with it. I'm like, geez, it must be some pretty big fallacies in that spreadsheet
That'd be a
because
pretty big fucking
I
assessment.
can't see it.
So that's the other problem. Like, I don't. Okay, so I have a habit on this channel, and Faulkie, you know this, Jez, you know this. Jez, at one point last year, I think you talked me off the ledge along with several other people. Like, I was ready to be, like, just PlayStation was the, like, just dead. I have their console, I like it, but it's just over. And then January hit, and they announced, like, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. They announced Stellar Blade. They announced what was it? The Grand Blue Fantasy Relink. They announced like 6 other projects that were going to be coming out. And so like that year turned out to be an amazing year for PlayStation. I loved last year. But I started out that year and went into that year because of December going, you know what? I'm tired of not knowing anything. The 2 shows this year were kind of ass, and I'm tired of not knowing they don't have anything. This sucks. It seems like they're on the decline, all this live service, and I just went full railroad PlayStation. And then in January, they released this, and they released all the cool stuff, and I was like, oh, shit, never mind. They knew what the hell they were doing. So, here's the problem with this, though. They see everybody else taking their games everywhere, doing all this other stuff. Nintendo sits back quietly, overcharges for a fucking console that had no business being $500 and something. Everybody buys it, telling you the market's going to bear that. That's fine. Not this market in my house, but other markets will bear that. That's cool. And then they go into all this other stuff. They have a huge, bad, terrible press cycle with anybody who has half of a brain who can look at it and go, well, they're going to limit game sharing. They're going to brick consoles. They have the ability to do this and that. And then it gets into, well, PlayStation and Xbox have always had the ability to brick your consoles since everything went online. That's part of the perks of being connected to the internet is they can monitor you and brick your console for being an asshole. Great. Awesome. And so then that all kind of dies. And the Switch launches, no big deal. Games come out for the Switch, cool. Everybody's happy with the Switch. Xbox does the worst fucking thing they can at this point and does another round of layoffs. And then instead of, and let's not get the date twisted, like there is some significance to the fact that Gears of War is coming to PlayStation on the very fucking same day that Helldivers is going over to Xbox. Like, that's not... That
Crazy.
feels like somebody signing the Sokovian Accord and, like, making a peace treaty and saying, we are now cool. You give me a game, I give you a game. Not because we're forced to by the MLB, but because we want to. And to prove it, we're going to put one of our own studios that could be working on PC ports of our games to PC, and instead we're going to divert that money to work on a PC or on an Xbox port that 150, 200,000 people are going to buy. I could be totally wrong. I could get super surprised. But like, it's not making sense to me. And if I am the same person that looked at Xbox fans and went, hey, listen, y'all put y'all shit on PC, that's a slippery slope. And
Like,
then
wait for 5 minutes.
the game is on the two largest platforms and has seen huge success. You're taking development time away from your first party studio to put it over to the smallest install base of a console that is not showing growth. It's showing year-over-year decline, and it has it has one of the weakest consoles that hard to develop for with the Series S. So that you just gave, like, you did it, and the fact that they thought that was a lucrative way to put their game on there says if they're going to go through all that for that game, they're not stopping. Like, I wouldn't be. I'm telling you, like, people, do not be shocked if friggin' Spider-Man goes over there. I don't know who's calling the shots over there, but I think this is the start of something. Like you said, some sort of accord of, like, handshake.
It feels like it.
I feel like Xbox, coming off a cruise ship, Xbox was sinking, and Sony, and they're like, goodbye. Instead of waving them, saying, guys, you're done, come on to this boat, Sony's like, wait, here are the lifeboats. It's like, why are you throwing them a raft?
I was literally screaming at the microphone. I was screaming at the phone while you were doing this part in your stream, and I was like, I called this shit. I said that PlayStation was going to save Xbox. Now, in the context,
it's like they were a drunk bet or something they lost or something like that. They're like, I have no clue. It's like, who wants to work on the S? Oh shit, you go. All right. Like, I have no clue.
Herman Holtz comes over and is like, I can
Herman
drink
Holtz was
anybody
drunk
under
on
the
margaritas.
table. I can do it.
Yeah.
I can drink anybody under the
He's like-
table. What do you have? And then fucking Satya
Herman-
came over and goes, do you have no idea how much you can drink? And then they started drinking, and Herman got his ass kicked, and now Helldivers 2
Herman
is
lost the
going
bet.
over. That's what.
Yeah, Herman lost the
that's what
bet.
happened. Like, it's just weird. And
But you want to know what else? Michael was said about Nixus is their porting studio. You want to know what? Nixus also was behind the chronological update to Naughty Dog, to Last of Us Part 2. They even tweeted that out. They were working on that. Nixus, I don't know how, but they were working on the chronological update for Last of Us Part 2.
Sense.
That makes sense.
It doesn't make sense to put.
Who knows? They
IP
maybe
over
getting
there.
it ready for Xbox. Who the hell knows?
Listen, Xbox
Oh,
or PlayStation
shit.
fans who are like, no, this isn't a slippery slope. This isn't. Look at. Okay, so if past dictates future, if past is prologue, right? Like, you can look at this and go, okay, remove my blinders, remove the fact that I've been a PlayStation main guy since the PS1, never owned an Xbox, and just recently got a PC that can play any kind of semblance of a video game. Take all of that shit away, put Xbox's trajectory and PlayStation's trajectory, and go, okay, there was a point where Xbox was doing really, really well, and they decided to take their games over to PC. They decided to go full subscription. They decided to do this. They decided to... And, like, you can see the erosion of their brand as an exclusive place, as a special place to play the games. I am not saying that that is what Helldivers 2 represents. I am saying we should open our eyes and go, you know what? There might be some correlations here. Like, and I mean, I don't think that PlayStation's going out of business in the next 5 years.
No, or get rid of your
Helldivers 2.
PlayStation,
Right,
or
I'm not
anything
saying
like
anything
that.
like that.
And yeah, like I saw some
saying
people
open your
going like
fucking
ape
eyes
shit.
and see this.
Like somebody, yeah, like somebody kicked them in the nuts and like threw them on the curb. Like,
Just
no,
open your eyes. That's it.
it's
open
just
them.
the thing is I would say
Look.
this may be, they may do some more of this because again, the fact of how weird this is, like they really didn't explain like, hey guys, this was a deal like we did, or kind of some sort of explanation as to how this is happening. They just kind of just announced it out of the blue. It's like so strange. And I was thinking, I know Arrowhead was very adamant about, hey, our next game is we're gonna fund it, and maybe this was sort of a thank you to them, like, hey, let's get your name out there to all platforms because of the next your next title is gonna be everywhere. And also they wanted to do something with the Helldivers movie or something like that. So hey, let's just get this IP to more people as much as possible. A lot of different like things that I could think of, but it's just so it's the strangest thing because you
weird.
Really I do not see a company that is kind of taking time to develop for a declining install base. Like hell, developers don't even do it. They didn't jump on the Switch until it started selling. Like you don't waste time and development costs to put things on a platform that's not showing growth.
With other companies, like, okay, so Black Myth Wukong, great example. They didn't delay the game to get the Xbox version up and running. We knew that was going to take about a year and a half now. They didn't. They said, fuck that. We're going to just skip you all together, and we're going to go to where the gamers are actually buying games anyways, and then over time we'll work on your shit. Like, they're not the only ones that did that. Also, holy shit, Stephen Leon with the $100 super chat. Holy hell.
Cooking.
Here's some more for the boy, vacation money, etc. Here is my problem with this. They did not have to put Helldivers 2. They can play it on Steam. Felt like they threw them a bone. Weird. The layoffs happened in the same time frame. Don't know. Weird. Yeah,
agreed. That's all like, I was saying is it's strange, dude.
Weird. Like, I'm not saying I'm not gonna do what Emmanuel did and go on and go, this is the last PlayStation I'll ever own and all this. Like, I'm not doing any of that. I'm not looking at somebody and going, well, I'm gonna get rid of my PlayStation and put that money into a new card for my PC.
Goodbye.
Like
Xbox.
The fuck, man? Like, I'm not doing any of that. But I'm also not gonna sit here and go, hey guys, this is totally fine.
This is a one-off, or this is a one-off, or it's like, hey, they just did this.
Under the rug either. Like, it's not.
This is something weird. Like, it is definitely strange. Like, it's definitely something that needs to be looked at. Like, the thing is, like, I could see we did Horizon on the Switch. They still never put it on Xbox, which was the weirdest thing. But they put Horizon Lego on the Switch, but not on Xbox. Like, but meanwhile, they got Helldivers 2 just for Xbox, but not on the Switch, where the Switch has a huge install base. Like, and you could say, well, it's not for that audience. They don't play those kind of games. But the thing is that you have a better shot with 150 million people on it rather than 35. I don't know. I just
like that's the
it boggles my mind.
Like, why would what
35 million who want games in Game Pass and don't buy games? Hell, third-party publishers don't even show how much their third-party sales are on Xbox. Like, it's the lowest that it is, and I just can't believe that they specifically put the game on the X and the S. Like, I'm like, yo, that is just wild shit.
It's like, okay,
it was a drunk bet.
Xbox has a huge problem with this, and they always have, right? PlayStation steps in shit, and Xbox is like, I'm gonna find a dump truck full of sewage. Like, that's just how it has been working for the past, like, 10 years. PlayStation does something a little off-color. Maybe they announce they're canceling the Stars program, and then, like, Xbox comes out and is like, hey, we're cutting and shutting down 4 studios, and we're doing blah, blah. Oh, okay, cool. And I'm exaggerating. But, like, they always do news that is worse than whatever PlayStation did. So PlayStation has a bad news, like Concord. And it's like, oh, shit, well... Xbox...
Give them Concord. That's what they should have put it over there. Nixus, give them Concord.
I think it was you that was saying, because of your new music on there, that E.T. is going to beat... E.T. No, the console is going to go the way of E.T. before PlayStation has a chance
to yeah, I said Xbox is going to kill itself before Sony fucks around and finds out. That's what's going to happen. I think Xbox is going to go away faster than Sony's like, shit, we almost messed up.
But, like, But dude, I'm not gonna sit here and yeah, I have the quote unquote sacred symbols in my logo and everything for the time being. This channel is changing. PlayStation doesn't pay me shit. Therefore, they don't get to have advertising on my channel for free. If they want it, they can pay me. Outside of that, we're just going to be talking about gaming
You
going
hear that,
forward.
Herman?
Yeah, hear that, Herman? Listen,
Herman?
Hiroki Totoki needs to get the fuck out of the office.
Yo,
That's
Hiroki
all
Totoki
I'm
needs to
saying.
get
Like,
that. They got to get his ass out of there.
I
I don't
didn't
know.
like him when he was interim.
Thrifty,
I will
this
not
is
stand for this slander. I will not stand for the slander of an accountant. I will not.
that dude needs to
Welcome
go.
back, Faulkie.
Like, listen, that clown is gonna sit there and go. I like these executives. They make these stupid ass decisions, and then they wonder like, and here comes our PS6, and it's like, well, the PS6 is selling very slowly. Why is that? It's like you spent the whole PS5 generation telling people that they could get your IP somewhere else. No wonder nobody's running out there lining up for the thing. The reason why people bought the Switch 2 was because Mario Kart was like, bitch, this is the only place to play Mario Kart. And
Mario
you
Kart,
spent now
Zelda,
the PS.
Donkey Kong,
Yeah.
Metroid. I can
You
keep
can't
going.
you can't like spend the entire generation showing where everybody else could get the ice cream and then go, oh, and here comes the PS5 like the PS6. Where is the urgency to go buy one at $700-800? And people will be like, well, you know what? I'm just chilling with Miles Morales right now. I'll wait for Spider-Man to come wherever I am. And it's like, then you're gonna see them going. But the thing is, then you're gonna see the guy going like, well, you know what? The adoption rate of the new consoles is a little slower than we anticipated. It's like, no shit.
Yeah, that's a foregone conclusion, though. And I'll tell you why. Because they're going to shove out a console within the next 2 years, and the market doesn't need a new console in 2 years, and I'll tell you why again. With the
Where
advancements...
are you getting that information from?
Do what?
Where are you getting that information from?
Oh, just my 2 eyeballs. I think they're gonna extend the current generation out by 1 year more than normal. So normal's about 7. So we're looking at not next year, 2026 or 20. I'm sorry, 3 years. My bad. I think they're gonna extend it out to an 8-year cycle, which means 2028 is when we'll get the new console. This has been my prediction the whole time because COVID kind of screwed up everything, and I don't see where they can do a dramatic enough improvement over where the PS5 sits right now, above and beyond. I don't see it where they're going to be able to convince me, like Jez just said, that I need to go spend another $600 on another console because this one plays games that still melt my eyeballs. You know what I mean? Like, going from the PS3 to the PS4 was a pretty good leap, but going from the PS2 to the PS3 was mind-boggling with what the 2 systems could do and the difference in power and the difference in the way everything looked. Just like going from the PS1 to the PS2 was mind-boggling. Like, those things were amazing when you looked at them. I think going from the PS5 Pro or the PS5 to a PS6, I think there's not a big enough gap there, and with COVID and everything, given an additional year on the life cycle, development times got screwed up because of COVID, whatever, we got to gain a year, and the console isn't losing momentum that fast. So, like last year, I believe they reported that they exceeded their projections in sales for the console. So, like, it's not slowing down as fast as they thought. So they might be able to extend it out 1 more year, maybe with another refresh or something like that. Andy, that's just in my brain what I think is going to happen. Could be totally wrong. I ain't got no sources. I'm not.
So wait, you don't think one's coming? You think one's coming out in 2 years or 3? When do you think?
3. I think we're going to get the
3.
new console in 3. I think that Sony's been working on it. I think that we have about another 12 months-ish. If I remember, Faulkie said it takes about 18 months to go from concept to actual design. If I think that was right, I might be misquoting you.
It's 18 months from concept to production-ready design, and then you've got another 6 to 12 months to get the tooling and the factory set up and all the contracts in place.
Yeah, I think like around 28 and 29. Yeah, like around there. They'll push it. They can't push it to 30, but I think, I think like in 3 years. I think we'll get one in 3 years.
No, what they could do, they could push it out. So, talking all things conceptual. we know that the FSR4, PSSR 2.0, whatever thing they want to call it, is launching 2026. And I have a sneaking suspicion it'll happen around about the same time as Grand Theft Auto 6 will come out, right?
No.
Yeah. Call me Nostradamus because the blind man who spoke to Jesus could tell you that. So if that's the, that would make sense. As to, remember we've spoken about it before. Something was needing to be changed within a system level for them to warrant a 12+ month delay or something. And it makes sense if they've done the FSR4, had to go back in and rebuild the back end of it for that stuff. That would be 12 months worth of delay. So PC, PlayStation, all that, pick. Xbox doesn't seem like it's going to do an update for that stuff, so good luck with that one, I guess. But if that comes 2026, then they'll shift focus from, whiteboard concepts for PS6 into let's actually see what we can do. You think about where we were last year, no one was even talking about PSSR or whatnot. We just knew the PS5 Pro was going to be marginally better than the PS5. And it turns out the PS5 Pro's had a bit of a redesign and is going to be significantly better in its capabilities than a PS-based PS5. However, it's not going to be that noticeable unless you've got a screamingly good TV and an amazingly fast internet service. So it's stuff outside the console that's going to limit it. But when we get to doing PS6, so they launch this update next year, and Sony and his team are fully focused on getting the 6 design and that done. We'll get a couple of years or whatever this thing is. That'll give you an insight as to what, steps forward they could make with the 6. But it would have to be a marginally decent step forward.
Right.
Because but having said that, the 2 years is a long time in technology at the moment. Again, look, 4 to 5, everyone was like, the leap isn't big enough. And now we're saying 5 to 5 Pro. Some suggest it's a bigger leap than 4 to 5. So
no, go ahead.
They'll just finish the point in, if it does get extended and they feel they need to do something different, changing the internals would need to have a massive external benefit, or they'll just redesign what they've already got and make it cheaper because the technology hasn't shifted. But even AMD and Nvidia and all the tech giants, even the AI advancements that they're talking about, no one knows what the scape is going to look like in 27 or 28. So whatever they're designing to produce then is likely going to be, upcoming technology that's available or developed for availability commercially in the next 12 months. So, it's fair enough.
Go ahead.
It's fair enough to say, what could they possibly do that would warrant me putting my hand in my pocket to pay them money for something? And that's usually the case every time we get into a discussion about a generational change or a next console or all the rest of it. You don't have to be there day one, but I imagine that next year there will be an increased jump in a lot of things within the Pro itself just because of the technology that they're trying to deploy in it. If it turns out that it works, maybe the Pro does go to 27, 28, 29 until they get something else that's worth developing for. But at this stage, what's encouraging people to buy it? Well, most of the games that are on a PlayStation you can't play anywhere else.
Well, until they start messing around.
So here's the problem, though, and
guarantee of that. So.
And I'm gonna let.
And that's the thing. If they keep doing that, that's the thing. If they keep doing that, like I said, that demand for this whole this is the home of, this is where I'm gonna get this console for this. Right. And the other thing that I brought up on my show was this is a challenge when I heard people going, well, they don't consider PC competition and. Dude, Steam and Xbox or Microsoft are trying to consolify PC gaming, and that is going to be competition. Like a PC in your living room that plugs into your TV, that is consolified, that could be used with a controller from boot up and stuff like that. That's competition for a PlayStation. So they are now feeding that future. with their stuff. So and that's the challenge that they've done. Like I said, they FAFO, man. They putting their stuff on PC, and it's coming full circle now as SteamOS and Windows Xbox app are going. They're trying to consolify that experience, taking the PC pain in the ass stuff and trying to minimize that as much as possible, which
Turn a
keeps
PC to a
people wet.
console.
They're trying like that. I can tell you, like with the Steam Deck, like the Steam OS really is a console experience on with the flexibility of modifying things, but like the front end of it is very console like, and they're trying to simplify that experience for these people coming from console as like a welcoming to PC. How successful they are, who knows? But that could eventually challenge a console in the living room if now this consolification of PC gaming turns into something with all these mini PCs and all these different these handhelds that could get plugged into a TV switch like. Sony got to keep an eye on it. Like they should be putting more stuff closer to home, knowing that everybody's trying to do this rather than opening up their gates, because I think that's a little bit of hubris on their part, thinking that like, oh, we got them by the balls, they're not going to leave us PlayStation. And it's like bullshit. If people find better ways, they're going to go better ways. And you guys, you could sit there and think that you're on cloud nine, that nobody's going to leave PlayStation, nobody is going to consider other options, but that's their hubris. Like that's them being very coy and cocky. Yeah,
but at the same
they got to be careful.
I think that there's such a far gap. So here's the one thing that PlayStation has going for them. There's such a plethora of people who just want to push a button and the damn thing works, right? There are a ton of pragmatists, and there are a ton of pragmatists in gaming. Like, they just want to push a button and make it work. Like I've said before in the past, plastic box, make picture. Like, that's what people want.
But that's what they're trying to do with PC, though. See, that's what I mean. Steam
I
OS.
was going to say, I think they're so far away from being able to do that, to where everything just auto balances in the background, and all you have to do is press play. That like, I just don't think that's. I don't think we're there yet. I do think though that.
But if you're talking about 3 years from now, and PS6, you're talking about your next. You're talking about your next console, and your next console coming in at $700, $800, $900. You're not talking about $400 consoles anymore. We're talking about that stuff. So you're in the $1,000 range. Go look at. I'm not saying you're going to get a PC that's going to have the same power as that, but gaming PCs, you're in that realm. It's not like, oh, I'm a $400 console. Gaming PCs are $1,000. You're in that realm if you're trying to sell a PS6. So what I'm saying is, now's the time when you got to take that Wolverine, you take that Ghost of Yotei, and you hold those close to your chest, knowing that you don't put it out in 12 months. Like even that, like you don't share it. You keep that here because you know that everybody else is trying to create what you are doing in the living room. Like that's what they're trying to do with Steam OS and shit. Like, and the same thing with the Windows. That's what they're doing with the Xbox app. Like they're like, oh, start up your PC with the controller and log in with your controller. Like again, they suck. So I don't know how effective they're going to be, but they're all trying to do that sit back and that PC experience. They're trying to bring in that console audience to PC gaming, and if you all are known for your IP and known for your experiences, that like I would, if I was a business person, I'll be like, you know what, guys, let's slow it down a little bit. Let's let it cook a lot. Let's put it in our services. Let's put it in our subscriptions until it's dry to the bone before I let anybody breathe on my IP. You know, and instead of trying to put it on billions of consoles to sell a movie ticket, I think that's stupid. Because a movie person, like, oh, we got to put it everywhere so they know about the movies. Like, fuck, get the hell out of here. If they don't know about Uncharted now, nobody's going to see the movie. You know what I mean? Like, putting it. So I just think that they need to be wiser with their IP. Nintendo walks a very fine line of where they put their shit. And, that's what you're supposed to do. Like, I don't know. Unless they really don't care about selling PlayStations and they want to kind of just sell their software. I don't know. I don't know what the hell they want to do. They act weird.
Yeah, and that's This is definitely the Helldivers 2 thing is something that I really am going to be keeping an eye on. Like Helldivers 2, after that, what happens? Like the aftermath, right? Like if we start seeing like, oh hey, let's just pick a random ass game that there have been rumors of like
Spider-Man.
a remake. No, let's
Well, I'm
do an
just saying,
older
like,
one.
think Spider-Man 2018. Like, what stops them from like Nixus going, oh, yeah, Spider-Man. Everybody knows Spider-Man. Put that on
Oh no,
Xbox.
I'm even gonna go an older one. There's rumors of an Infamous remaster that keeps like getting dredged up every several months. Like, oh, Infamous is gonna get a remaster. Like, as soon as they start
Are you
going,
sitting there? Sorry, are you sitting there telling me that the reason to not buy a PS6 is because 10 or 15-year-old games being remastered may end up in whatever these new PC hybrids are?
no, I was just using an
Yeah.
example. Like, it could be any game. Because here's the deal. We railroaded the shit out of Xbox, at least on this channel and many others. Railroaded the absolute dog mess out of them for Gears of War coming, for Fable coming, for Halo eventually. We know it's coming. Like, literally railroaded the shit out of them for that. And
Okay.
I'm not going to sit here and make different excuses because I have a PS5 and not an Xbox. Like, those are still Sony IPs that are well known and recognizable and built the bedrock and the foundation of the PS2 and PS3 eras for PlayStation. So yeah, if those titles start going over there, yeah, that's pretty fucked up. Like, I'm not going to say I'm
Mhm.
going to stop buying like PlayStation games or leave the console or anything because that's stupid as shit. Like, I'm not investing into a whole nother system just because a couple older games are going. But I can definitely see the line of thought from somebody going, well, you know what? I don't really like the design of the PS6 or the PS whatever. I kind of like the new Asus ROG handheld. It'll play most of the games I want to anyways, and everybody's kind of doing multi-platform. I don't need a PS6 for this. I'll just go ahead and get the Steam Deck, or I'll just go ahead and get the Asus ROG, or I'll just go ahead and get whatever Xbox's new box is going to be, or whatever. Because at that point, Jim Ryan at least did say, and I believe, that exclusives do sell hardware.
Gamers buy games, not the consoles. Like, that's the thing. And
Right.
when your
We want
games
to play the game.
and the thing is that the Helldivers 2 creates that thing creates like, it creates a pathway. It's like, oh wow, so maybe the thing is that it really, when you really hurt your adoption rate, your potential adoption rate in the future, if you start doing this stuff. And
I hope
maybe
they
they
do,
think
Josh.
that they have such a lockdown on their audience that it will take a lot for them to do that. But I said, the PC stuff, they don't consider competition. Yeah, PC as it is, but if you see what the attempts are now for PC gaming, it's to try to consolify it and make it simpler, which I think is competition to you. And it takes people away from your market. You get a cut when people buy from Steam, but you're getting 100% of that stuff. And Microsoft's seeing that shit. They're seeing all their microtransaction stuff. Like, when you say open storefront, guess what? On PC, Epic gets all those microtransactions from Fortnite, not Xbox, not PlayStation. So like, you open up that storefront and you have other people getting options for games. You're basically leading people away from your store, your ecosystem. And I think they're willing to take a little bit off, but it could eventually do something for it. And I don't know what their plan is. I think they're being very calculating with it, but I can't see them stopping at just this one game. And I never seen somebody make games for a platform that's not showing growth. Like, not even a developer. Like, if Xbox, the original one, had to fight tooth and nail to get games from the same day as PlayStation got it because their install base was ass. How do you say 25 years later their install base is even worse, and PlayStation is taking time to put one of their IP games, a multiplayer game. It's not even like they need, people can't find matches. It's not like they need an audience, because if they did, they'll put it in Game Pass. They're actually trying to sell this to people that don't buy games on a low install base. I don't know who was drunk and made the deal, but that's
the crazy part.
That's what's going on.
And obviously, I take more of this is the slippery slope that we saw Xbox go down.
Yep.
And so, like, that's where
I remember, dude. That's why I started my channel when Phil Spencer was like, "We're putting games on PC." It's like, whoa, what do you mean PC? Like, what's?
But like, I also see Faulkie's point. Like, how many folks are actually gonna leave just because a 10-year-old game went over, or
no? And that's the.
Or not a multiplat, but a multiplayer game developed by a second-party studio under a second-party deal. How many are going to leave because of that? How many are just going to see, oh, it's Helldivers and nobody cares anyway?
Yeah, there's not going to be an exodus. You know what I mean? Like that's well, that's the thing. Like, there's not going to be an exodus overnight. I'm talking about the future of PlayStation. Like, what is your plan for the future if you are spending so much time spreading your IP out to other places? People are going to say, hey, why do I got to go to ground zero to get what I need to get when I could experience their IP on other areas where I game? And, you know, they could say, well, they're never going to buy a PlayStation. But then stupid Herman was like, I put it over there. I put it over there because then they want to buy a PlayStation. I bring them to PlayStation. It's like, dude, I don't know. Because look at Xbox. They told people to go to PC. Yeah. They never came back. Like, you know what I mean?
But I've told this story before, Jess. I almost bought an Xbox 360 because of Halo. Like, literally because of Halo, I almost switched consoles just because of one game that I wanted to play, because I was tired of my buddies talking to me about how PS3 can't release shit and it was overpriced and I shouldn't have got one, and we have this really cool game that we can play with our buddies called Halo and it's awesome, and I'm sitting over here going, well, I don't really have shit for the first 3 years. I don't really have shit. And, like, I was this because gamers will follow you said it earlier, gamers want the games. So, if the games go everywhere, the gamer then gets to make the decision, where do I want to play? And at the end of the day, then it becomes stupid shit. Like, what color's the console? It's like, at that point, it's just that, and I don't think...
Okay.
Sorry, I don't think that PlayStation... This is what I feared with as much success as they were having with the launch and as bad as they were whooping Xbox.
They're getting cocky. I think
they
are
getting
cocky.
Very, very fucking cocky, in my opinion. Now, once again...
They think their shit don't smell.
We do not have anything to go off of except the way Microsoft ran Xbox into the ground with some of these similar decisions. That's also assuming that the leadership at PlayStation is just as bad as the leadership at Xbox. That is assuming that the leadership at PlayStation doesn't know how to run a gaming company for 30 years like they have done, 35 actually, 30, 32. So, like, we are assuming a lot here, and I get that. That's what conversations are for. I'm not trying to present me as like, ooh, this is like exactly what's gonna fucking happen. I'm like, I'm brainstorming with two of my buddies on here. Like, that's what we're doing. Like, that's. But
and the other thing, again. Well, I just want to say one more thing is, like, you know, people say too, like I saw, you know, who was saying about the FOMO, like Josh was saying about FOMO and stuff. And I think everybody kind of is excited about games and sales in the beginning and going, hey, that's when everybody buys. And exactly, that's the exciting time. But if you recall, like, it's usually a library of games. Like, the people that, like, they still have people on PS4 that haven't bought a PS5. And when you look at a collection of games that could be played there, you could justify your purchase into the investment. Because I remember when I bought PlayStation, it was like, when I got it, it was like, yo, I got it in 2017. All those games that were only available on PlayStation, it was like Christmas morning. It was like, now I'm not just going to buy the console for one game and be one and done. I'm going to buy the console and look at all these games that I could only play here. So the library of exclusives, by keeping exclusives and the identity there, it does impact the purchasing decisions of that platform, because now it's not just for one game. You could justify it for a lot of people, like 3 years in, going, wow, there's a collection of games that can only be played here. If they spend the time of a year and 2 years of games going elsewhere, that collection thought or that justification of buying that, it's like, well, wait a second. The God of War, I could buy God. Wait, I never played God. Oh, I could get it here. I could get it over here. Well, I don't necessarily need that platform. And I'm just saying it creates a question mark when it was before a automatic face first dive in the pool. Now it's sort of like, you know what? Let me walk around a little bit and dip my toes in to see how the water feels before I do it. Where the Nintendo Switch, it's like, yo, I want to play Mario Kart, Donkey Kong. You're going head first in the pool, and they're getting you. Like when you start creating that elsewhere, there's a temporary doubt or alternatives that people now are not just going to dive into your shit. You are offering other options where people necessarily may not even consider you at all. And that's what I mean. Like that exclusivity matters. I've always said it matters. It's the identity, it's the bread and butter. But when you start sharing that IP out and putting it on other places, definitely you lose that grandeur and lust and and importance of your platform. And we've seen Microsoft kind of just dig themselves in a hole with what they've done. They have no identity now. They don't know what the hell they are. And PlayStation could be like, are we the console? Are we just PlayStation gaming? And are we Naughty Dog? Are we just God of War? I don't know. Like, if that's what they want to be, then that's where they're
Are we
going
just the
with
big
that stuff.
six and everything else can go wherever? Like, and I say big six, like when you think of PlayStation, like Insomniac, Santa Monica, like Gorilla, like
And
the
the games are less and less this gen too. Like a lot of those,
yes, and
yeah,
so
they've
the
been
other
less
side
too.
of the and we're gonna go ahead and put a pin in this, and because we'll probably wrap back into this. It's gonna be an evolving story. Holy crap, William Aguilar with the 5 and then with a 10. Let's read both of these.
Let's
PS
get
makes
them.
most of their money being a store that third parties sell on, and stores compete with exclusives to bring customers in. That is absolutely right. That's actually going to get a like. Josh kind of said
Yes.
the same thing a little bit ago. Sony is counting that 70% they get from the store. That's a big thing that they look at, and we get yes, absolutely. And he says Sony is a hardware company, not a software company. They
Uh
won't
huh.
jeopardize that, no matter how much the mini PCs cost next gen. PS6 will be several $100s cheaper. Single player will be protected. Okay,
I
so
hope.
I hope right. As
I
what's up,
hope.
Lone Gamer?
I agree.
As we
But
move on,
Hatokiness, I
and
don't know,
also
but
I,
William, thank you for
I,
the 2 super chats. Go ahead.
before you chuck a pin in it, there's two quick points I want to make, and just in what Jez just said. Hitoki, look, the guy. Some people like him, some people hate him. In what he does, he's a bean counter that wields a razor.
He is a bean
And he
counter.
is
That's why I don't like him.
fucking ruthless. I love him. He's ruthless, and he's done things that they should have done under Jim Ryan well and truly before 2020. And he's cleaned house. He's tidied the ship. He's cut out a heap of deadwood. There's a heap there left to cut. I don't know if he's going to get to it, but um, he's done sensible business things. Not necessarily great things across the board, but sensible business things. Now, in riding the ship, Totoki will always take the perspective, and same with the hierarchy that run Sony and oversee PlayStation now. They will always take the perspective they will do what they need to do to protect that business unit. Now, if the market pivots to a point where they say, we don't have a choice, we've got to put our software everywhere, then the question will be asked, do we bother even building our own software anymore? And how do we protect our position in having a storefront that people are tied to? Now, that's an important question to ask, because way back when everything was physical, you could chop and change quite easily, right? Now with digital libraries and the whole backwards compatibility thing, it's given consumers less choice or less impact if they choose to shift to a different place, right? So if you've got a massive PlayStation library that's got digital PS3 and PS4 and PS5 games on it, you're more inclined to go to the 6 at some point. And we saw that lag with people going from PS4 to PS5. It was a monstrous lag of people jumping over. And there's still something like 42% or something of people that play on PlayStation are still on a PS4 or PS4 Pro. So that means that they've sold 75, 80 million PlayStation 5s. So a huge amount of those are new to the ecosystem, then they're not converted over from the previous one. And it's a say a diametrically opposed metric. That's a point that never gets highlighted enough, in that clearly they've done something this generation to bring people into the ecosystem. And they're in the ecosystem and they've got a digital library, they're less likely to jump ship. Problem that Xbox had, and this is where the context becomes important, as Jez pointed out, they said play everywhere, play on whatever device you want. You can have it wherever you like. Well, that was a bad decision, because now the digital library doesn't tie them into even Xbox, not just Xbox, I should say, but it doesn't even tie them into a Microsoft ecosystem. They can pick it up and play it wherever they like.
Yeah.
No plan at the moment. There's no plan for PlayStation to do that. But if the market demands it, and then that's how they survive, well, then they'll pivot and do it. But PlayStation,
And they weren't putting out games either to build that library.
That's right. So they will make the decision to move. And historically, PlayStation has been horribly, and Sony is horribly slow to move to a market. They don't ever innovate. They never go first. They always come in at some point. Live service is a great example. 10 years too late, had a crack at it, got 2 to stick, or 1 to stick, and we'll see how the other one goes. But it's they're a slow-moving ship, and they're very protective of what they've got. So I can appreciate their concern about, as you both greatly pointed, the concern is that everything ends up everywhere. But there would have to be a very compelling business case for them to either increase what they've got or stem the bleeding, so to speak, if something in the market turned in the opposite direction to where they're going, for them to need to do that. As it stands, the main reason why they went to PC was to try and get more revenue in from a stagnant consumer base. Mm-hmm. And it's working. It's clearly working in that they're flirting with a time frame that's probably getting too close. And I think they figured that out when they took the Horizon Forbidden West at 12 months or something over there, and didn't get the return that they were expecting. 18 months to 2 years for some games makes sense, but they like, how many Insomniac games can you play off a PlayStation? 1, 2, maybe. And it's Insomniac's considered one of their best studios. So I'm less convinced that they'll do it by choice and probably more by force. But having said that, I'm not disagreeing with what you said, Jez, but the exclusives part and the FOMO piece, there is an underlying case to say that because of the digital library piece, the FOMO exclusive cell units, it's still relevant and very relevant, but is it exclusive as it's always never going to go anywhere else, or is it a timing thing? And I think this is the next area of uncertainty that some of them are fiddling with. Xbox is fiddling with it in a big way in bringing stuff over to PlayStation.
Day one. Yeah, they're like day one. They don't even do time.
They went the wrong way about it, didn't they? They went, we'll put everything day one, and now they're like, oh shit, we better not do that.
Oops.
They haven't had a day one PlayStation Xbox release yet, so they clearly learned something. However, like the Indiana Jones game coming was 6 to 9 months later, whatever it was, and it sells well. They're bringing older games like Forza Horizon, Halo's going to come, and all the rest. They're bringing older games that have had their run, and they're just sitting in Game Pass as a content filler, really.
Right, but now they're holding
they're not got
Grounded 2, right? They're holding Grounded 2 for Xbox exclusivity. How long? We don't know, but like...
Well, it's because it's in preview.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's what I mean. They are... The point I'm getting at is, if you want to play it first, it's changing from this is the only place you can play it to this is where you can play it first. And if that becomes the change, then the question is how long? And the timing piece, PlayStation's probably got a much better grasp on the current market and the timing piece around that, as opposed to what Xbox has got. But PlayStation likewise hasn't eroded their customer base into not paying for anything. PlayStation's consumer base, like Steam's consumer base, pay for stuff. Steam's got a lot more sales and it's a lot cheaper, and they don't have to pay for online gaming and all that other stuff that PlayStation charges for. However, they've got that sort of figured out in their business models already. Xbox is new in trying to figure that. How do we, get people to pay for shit again? And that's with the ABK purchase. But it's not that I disagree with you. I completely agree that they need to have exclusives, and they need the exclusives to maintain that. And the single party and all the main first party studios have got to stick with it. But it's how long do they stay exclusive on the console, and how? Then the question is, do they do it on a case by case, which at the moment they're saying they're doing, or do they do in 2 years you can get this on Steam, or 18 months you can get this on Steam? So then the question is, well, they're going to buy a console to get at it first and have a similar experience to PC, or do we wait until it potentially gets released on PC based on habit, not by confirmation, and then we'll play it when we get there? And that's where the question will come about as to how are they doing this. But again, back to the first point,
Well, they
nearly half the PS4 owners haven't jumped to a PS5 yet. And that's, if they don't jump to a PS5, what they're missing out on all these PS5
Yeah, but think
games
about it now. As a
jump.
PS4 owner, but yeah, think about it. As a PS4 owner, thinking about PS5, how many of those PS5 games are available to be purchased on PC? So now, as a PS4 owner, are you going to go to PS5 or are you going to go to PC to play those games and and do other stuff? You know, you
But-
have your library. I know your library goes, so you could say people want to keep their library, but it does create an alternative pathway that now those PS5 games, I don't necessarily need a PS5 to get them. And
Correct.
that's
Correct.
where the difference is now when you're looking to buy it, depending on how long that exclusivity time is, a collection of games, because I experienced it when I bought the PS4. I was like late in the generation, and I had all these games I was able to play because that was where you play them. But now, if there was a consideration, because I was playing on PC at the time, because I was waiting for the Xbox One X, if they would have said, oh well, those PlayStation games that I want to play, like Uncharted and stuff, they're already on PC, I might have not even considered to get a PS4, and I would have just stayed on PC and played those games that I wanted to play from PlayStation. So like it does create a different pathway, and I'm just saying that when you're looking at next generations, if you still want to sell hardware, that narrative, that pathway could get larger, and that snowball could be rolling, especially with the dynamics of what they're doing in PC with trying to consolify it. It's going to get challenging in the future. Not right now, but in the future.
No, I absolutely agree. But you've touched on, and I won't go into it in detail, but you've touched on another point that's a subset to that. People who got a PS4 might just go and buy the game on PC. Great.
Yeah.
PlayStation got money out of them by doing that. At the moment, they're not getting any money out of them by them staying on PS4. And
They are from buying
the
from the store
subset
and
point.
stuff. They're getting 100% of everything they buy from the PS4. If they go get a PC, now they're only getting a piece.
That's right. Well, not necessarily. If you're sitting on a PS4 and you're only buying PS4 games or accessing
I'm getting 100% from
service,
everything they buy.
you're getting 100% from that. But if they're not investing in the PS5 console and they're not intending to invest in the PS5 console, and the only way they can get the PS5 games is through PC, PlayStation's still getting more in that aspect than they would have if they'd have just stayed on PS4 for that specific, to say, subset of how are they accessing these PS5 games. I don't necessarily know that's the smartest decision, but it's certainly better than getting nothing. So
it's It's risky. That's the thing. Like, it is risky. It's not the Nintendo model, but as I'm saying, is like, as things progress in the future, if they continue to be this aggressive, and again, I still don't even know the business sense for Helldivers 2. That's still
that's the one
going back to it like that. The PC thing, I totally see, because they have the studio in Nixis. It doesn't take away from their first party because Nixis does the port. It's not taking time away from sequels and stuff. But the thing for Helldivers 2 on the Series X and S, I'm like, that makes no business sense.
Someone else has to be paying for it, because if they sell 1 million copies,
something had happened.
If they sell 1 million copies, it's $40 million straight up on the sales, and the microtransactions aren't huge in that game. That's only a 30% return for PlayStation. That's only $12 million. But unless PlayStation's making all the money out of the sale, then it's only $40 million minus costs. So like, it's 4/5 of nothing in the rounding. So it's either somebody else is doing it and is paying for it, I should say, or they're fishing around to find something else out in that market. It's not the first
Arrowhead
time
really
PlayStation's
wanted
gone on a
it.
fishing expedition.
Well, Arrowhead really wanted it over there because
Yeah.
they've been shady too. Like somebody wrote in the chat too. Like Arrowhead, they messed up with the PSN, things. Like Arrowhead
Yeah.
has been a little rogue,
They had
and they
said
kind of
that.
came out like our next game is not on PlayStation, like not with PlayStation. It's independent. It's like, oh, okay. We thank them. They've been a little.
Yeah, Old Man Gaming
Well, yeah.
Guru had said that Arrowhead was moving grimy from day one. They fumbled the PSN
Yeah,
requirement.
as I saw
The
it.
guy that left was always talking about Xbox. They screwed the servers and the game up for months. Arrowhead is the culprit. Arrowhead is also the one that left it unlocked for regions when they knew that the requirement was a PSN account. Like that was
Yeah.
Arrowhead, not PlayStation, that did that. PlayStation made the
They
requirement,
did screw PlayStation.
but Arrowhead knew about that shit. And
Yeah.
they wanted more people
They disabled
to play it everywhere, so they disabled it the day before to where people
It was
could
a-
get it and do it. Like,
Yep,
So-
it was a bad PR
so-
thing for PlayStation too, because then they're trying to implement PSN, and everybody
Right.
went ape shit on them.
Yeah, and PlayStation had to step in to help out with the server issues over a weekend, and like there was fuck ups from everyone on that.
Yeah.
But I want to take business David's hat off and put gamer David's hat on. How great is it that an entire new gamer consumer base is going to get access to play a game on their preferred console that is as fun as Helldivers has been? Like,
Yeah,
all
Helldivers
business
is
stuff
awesome.
aside, it's if they haven't played it and it's the first time they get a chance to do it, they're getting all the good stuff that's already happened, and they get to jump in with people who and cross-play and all the rest of it. So, credit where credit's due. Somehow they've managed to get this thing to more people to play it, and I think that it's great for a gamer or people who like playing games. Not the nutcases that live on social media, but those that just like playing games. And like,
Oh no, it's a
great.
great game. Oh man,
It's
it's
great.
getting a
Yeah, I
treat
mean,
there. It fits. I said it was like ODST, like it should have been like what
Yeah.
ODST Halo is. Like I said it, like
Yeah.
no, I think it's great that they're
Mhm.
doing the crossplay and all that stuff with that stuff. It is great, but it's just
nah, fuck that. I don't think it's
It's
great.
crazy.
Even as a gamer, I don't
I-
think it's
I
great.
just-
I don't think it makes any fucking sense in the world.
oh man, get him
It-
Thrifty.
It literally makes absolutely no sense to me. Even as a gamer, great, more people can play it. It is sheer fucking fact, and no, I don't have data to back this up, but it's sheer fact. Hear that? No data but fact. Call me an insider. It is so far and away the norm that an Xbox player has a PC. The dipshits could already play it on PC or on their Steam Deck, or this is an Xbox. They can play it through Roku. They can already, I don't think it's on Roku, but they can play it through anywhere that has Steam OS. Not a
Yep.
problem. Most of them already have it. It doesn't matter to send it over there because anybody who wanted to play it had the chance to on PC. There's going to be a few people who are like, oh man, that was that PlayStation game, right? Oh, that's going to be cool. But and in that respect, sure, that's great. But like, it just because it's more games to more gamers and all of that stuff, and yeehaw for them to be able to finally play a great game that people get to have a lot of fun in. Bitch, you had time to play it for a year now. Like, and
shit, get him, Thrifty.
most of y'all assholes already have a PC. Because I know this, because every single time somebody says, oh, you're just an Xbox fanboy, you go, no, I have all the consoles. I have everything. I can play on PlayStation and PC and Xbox. Like, the people who are going to be aware of the buzz and the hype and everything around Helldivers have already had the opportunity and the chance to play Helldivers. In general, I understand, like I said earlier, there's going to be some fringe cases. So, and I don't even think that this isn't even like a Gears of War, an older game coming, an older IP. I've never been able to play it. I'm kind of stoked to be able to play
It's
it.
still relevant.
Like, right,
Yeah.
like it's kind of cool. It's fun. They're gonna be able. They've given it over to the PlayStation audience where there's 127 million players, and I'm pretty sure it's gonna do pretty well because dumb fun games do pretty well on PlayStation. Like, but like,
Yeah.
anyways, go ahead. I'll let you rebuttal that. Like, it's
No,
it's weird.
It's like
It's fucking weird.
You're so fun to trigger off. I was being facetious.
Oh. I was like, wait a minute.
What games have Xbox got to play? They just cancelled all of them.
Exactly. Phil
I
shut
didn't
it
know you
all
were being
down.
facetious. I was like, wait a second. I'm all
like,
for Kumbaya and let's love on the Xbox
Thrifty's
player,
no kumbaya. That's
but, like,
bullshit.
wait
He's
a
like,
minute.
let him rot.
This is horseshit.
See?
This doesn't
I think it
make
was
any
Thrifty in
sense.
my chat that said, "Don't feed the roaches." You don't feed the roaches.
Now,
I'm sorry. You were so I could sense you were sitting there ready to go off.
But it's like,
I'll just,
but you know, if it was a play, if it was a play for more people, they would either put it in PlayStation Plus. Or they would have put it in Game Pass or some subscription shit if it was a play. They're trying to make money. I tell you, they are trying to make money from a dried out lemon.
So here's the deal.
I don't even know. They're trying to get lemonade from a dried out.
So I was talking to Cosmic Hero. Both of y'all know him. He's been in the chat. He's been on the panel. He's been in several different shows that y'all have been on. And, like, y'all know who he is. Him and I were talking. And I was like, you know what? Just a wild thought. And it literally, these next couple sentences, is as far as this thought has gone. But what if PlayStation shit the bed so hard on live service titles that putting this over there and getting the minimal amount of sales that they're gonna get, that this is the only game that's live service that they really have an appeal for to the masses. So it's literally the only one that they can send over. Like, nobody gives a flying rat's ass about Marathon. Fair Games is dead.
Maybe Fair Games goes over there.
Like, but that's what I'm saying. Like, they have had no live service success outside of Helldivers 2 and MLB The Show. MLB The Show went over because of the MLB licensing agreement. We all know that. Helldivers is now going over because they're not making any money in their live service division. Once again, that was all I said to Cosmic. And I just want to kind of know y'all's thoughts on that. Is this because they want to have revenue on the live service line and they're like, hey, listen, we need to tap into something. This is all we got.
I am less convinced about that than...
He thinks there was a deal.
Okay, just a theory. It was just a theory. Literally just a water cooler.
No, it's all right. I do want to correct your statement slightly.
Fair enough.
If I may. PlayStation has not built a live service game themselves with this latest attempt. They've built multiplayer games in the past, but they have not successfully built and delivered a live service game themselves. They have plenty of live service games available, but they haven't built one yet. Arrowhead built Helldivers 2 with assistance from PlayStation.
So now wait a second. Who built Fate? Who did Fate? The mobile game, the live service mobile game that brings in tons of money for Sony every year.
Sony Music, Aniplex.
Oh shit. Okay, never mind.
That's not in gaming. So.
Never mind.
So gaming and network services doesn't do any of the mobile game stuff. That's all in music and anime area. That doesn't exist in the PlayStation gaming and network services area. They bought Bungie, so I think it's a bit ludicrous to say that Destiny is a PlayStation live service game. It's not. It's a Bungie game. So they bought Bungie. They helped with a second-party deal with Arrowhead get that game out. They've shit-canned everything else they tried to build. The only thing left that's coming is Fair Games, and that's hanging on by a thread. I wouldn't be surprised if that fails at the next test and they knock it proper on the head. They've got whatever Blundell is working on, and that's probably going to be more of have an online multiplayer than be a live service game because they are distinctly different. But PlayStation has not yet or ever, from my scratching of the brain right now, built and delivered a successful live service game from a first-party studio. They've done plenty of multiplayers, but they've not done a live service. So they had a crack, failed miserably, and I don't think that they even have a divisional requirement internally for what you've suggested. However, it still, as we've been talking about it for over an hour now, it doesn't sound like something that PlayStation would have driven hard for any sensible business reason if they're staying true to all the decisions they've made recently. It sounds like someone else has got their fingers in the pie and asking for this to happen. Now, it may be that Arrowhead just took 10 cents legal department and said to Sony, fuck you, we're going to do it anyway.
Yeah.
What's Sony going to do? Well, we get money for nothing, you pay for it all, do whatever the hell you like with it, but we're not going to make anything out of it. And if they make nothing out of it, well, so be it. But, like, yeah. And I'm sorry, I've just been corrected. MLB The Show is a live service game.
Yes, MLB The Show is a live service, yes.
But
it's counted
they've
as
been working
such
on that
because
thing
of
for...
their shit. Because of
Yeah.
the
it's
microtransactions and all that stuff.
And Gran Turismo is a live service.
Would
Is that
you
a live
call Gran
service?
Turismo a live service game?
It doesn't matter
I
if we
thought they
call it
did.
that. Does Sony call it that? That's
Do
the
they?
part.
I don't know.
That's the part that matters. And so I don't know if they do.
There
or
is
not.
microtransactions in it. I don't even know what the hell there's microtransactions in it like that. That is definitely to buy cars and stuff.
All right, so real
I
quick.
will stand corrected. MLB The Show excluded. Sony's done jack shit well with live service. Now online multiplayer different, but yeah.
Okay, so here's the deal. We have literally been on that topic now for an hour and a half. We are going to move on. Great conversation, but I have a couple other things that I'd like to talk about that are more, less divisive.
I
So,
want to
guys,
wind you up again.
No, you're fine. Hit that like button. No, they like it when I get wound up. They like having me fiery. Hit that like button. We've been here for 2 hours, 29 people in here, and yeah, let's keep going. So, I have something in here about Sea of Thieves and Microsoft and all of that stuff, but we're gonna pause that because I want to close this off on a game that I have been looking forward to since I finished the first one, and that is Ghost of Yotei. Okay, we get... Oh, wait, Lost Soul aside. Everybody in the chat already saw the trailer, or the gameplay footage. I played it like 5 times in a row, and there were some in the chat that were talking about how they're like sold on it. It's the game for them. They're going to get it. That's awesome. What about y'all? Real quick. Lost Soul aside, are y'all going to be there day 1 in September? Is this for y'all?
Yes, but not day one.
Yes, but not day. I respect that.
I'm getting it day 1.
You want to get it day 1? It looks clean
looks so cool
as shit.
I love Stellar Blade. I'm gonna get that. So yeah, it's definitely a game for me.
You give me an.
And by the way, Death Stranding,
we're there.
And that's the other thing. Like we're talking about like this, the Helldivers too. Like it is just one game, and the thing is, like you just said, Ghost of Yotei will be a thing tomorrow. I'm playing Death Stranding too. So like I said it on my show too. Like there is definitely a bigger threshold because they're still continuing to give the exclusives, and these games look incredible, play incredible. So like it's definitely a bigger buffer, but it's something just to, like you said, a head turner and a head scratcher on those things.
So let me ask you this. So with Ghost of Yotei, okay, head turners, all of that stuff. Ghost of Yotei is about to come out with 20 minutes of gameplay this week.
Oh, baby.
Play, okay?
Tomorrow.
So, listen. Yeah, I know. I got the juicy good stuff last week on the day of the podcast. This week, it's the day after. But, like, I know that the developers came out and they tried to set our expectations and told us that they were going more in the term of, like, cinematic draw distance and making sure that everything came in right and you didn't notice a lot of pop in. So I felt like they were trying at that point when they had made those comments to let us know, hey, listen, it's not going to be this graphical powerhouse because we're wanting you to be able to see the mountain off in the distance and see the blades of grass and with no pop in, and we want everything to generate smoothly and all that. Got it. Cool. On some level, though, I paid really, really good money from really generous people in this chat to get me a PS5 Pro, and I feel like I haven't been able to really put it through its paces. I have not played Death Stranding 2, so understand.
Yes, you need to.
Like, understood.
Because I'm just playing with the mud right now for the last half hour. Just driving my shit through the mud and just watching it deform and taking photographs.
So
anyway.
No, you're fine. So I need this game to kind of melt my face. Like, I'm expecting Sony first party to do what Sony first party does and make me forget about the activist turned actor turned voice worker turned whatever who's doing the voice of the main character in the game. I expect this game to be great. I don't think I'm wrong in those expectations. I think I think PlayStation Studios has set themselves up that when they put their single player story driven narrative game sticker on it, that I have a certain level of expectations. They did it with Horizon, they did it with God of War, they did it with Spider-Man, they did it with Ghost of Tsushima. Now it's time to do it with Ghost of Yotei. And I really want this game to kind of set the tone for the back half of the generation. And yeah, am I putting a lot on this game? I absolutely am. This is one of their big tentpole titles. This is one of their big tentpole franchises. They put a lot on this game, and as PlayStation fans, and as most of the people in the chat are PlayStation main users, like, we should be able to hold them to this high of a standard. Do y'all think this game is going to come out, state of plays tomorrow? Do y'all think that we're going to see stuff that's just going to melt our face off? Like, and by that I mean like clean, crisp, 60 frames per second, ray tracing. Like, I want certain things. Go ahead, Faulkie.
Nope, you won't see it because it's coming through YouTube and it'll be compressed.
Well, shit, you know what I mean. You.
Look, I've always had an objection to people making decisions based off these live stream events and YouTube events and all the rest of it, because it might be shown running on a PS5 or a PS5. If it's running on a base PS5, you're not going to get it at all. If it's running on a PS5 Pro, you're going to get, to a degree, whatever they're putting across. I've always been skeptical about these YouTube things because you're never sure what compression stuff they're running the filming through. You're not sure what their end and if it's being boosted or not. So I pay less attention to the graphics within it, and I'm focusing more on tomorrow, what the game plays like. How does it seem? Is it got a busy HUD or is it got a clean HUD? Is it got, you know, multiple different tricks to perform in the combat, or is it straightforward like the last one? They'd better have that Hirosaki. What was his name? The black and white cinematic mode.
Oh, I played that mode for
that
all
one.
of 5 minutes. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
It better have that because I had so much fun playing in that mode. I'm a sucker for black and white stuff. But yeah, the gameplay piece is what I'm more interested in, as long as they're not giving away the story. But in terms of what they're going to show me, that's it, Kurosawa. Yep.
Thank you, Josh.
I've lost my train of thought now. I'm not expecting to be blown away, have my face melted off by the graphics that they're going to show us through YouTube. I'd be more interested to see what it looks like running on a PS5 Pro with a TV that can do the justice to it.
Yeah.
And experience that in firsthand. But again, like, it's only the output of these consoles is only as good as the monitors or the TVs you put in front of them. You can have a PS5 Pro hooked up to a TV that at max can do 30 FPS. Or is a 30 hertz TV, and it can only do 1440p. Like, you're not getting the best out of it. So, but yeah, I'm interested to see it, and I think we are able to have expectations that it's going to be better than the last one, because I think that's fair. They certainly put out those expectations by the quality of what they have been delivering. So, there's no reason to expect they'll be worse. They've had plenty of time to cook the damn thing.
Well, now, in their defense, it's been 5 years, right? Like, that's not a terrible turnaround time. It just feels like it's been a decade.
Yeah, but again, like, we get a look at it tomorrow. We get to play it in October, and then I don't know.
3rd?
Is it going to be a system seller? Is it going to be a system seller? Maybe. Is it going to be a massive system seller? Probably not. But we're in the back half of the generation. Is it going to land on PC in 2 years' time? Who knows? It might not. Depends on how good it sells on the console. So
Michael Moo, have a good night, man. Thanks for stopping by, dude.
Amen.
So yeah, Jez, what about you? Are you excited to see what this game has to offer?
Yeah, like definitely. I think the big thing with it is the animations, like I and the draw distance and things like that. As like it, I don't think it's gonna look like a Death Stranding or a Horizon. Like I think if that's the kind of the eye melting stuff, Death Stranding 2 is your game, or Horizon Forbidden West. I would say this game, that it was more of just the animation, the world, how living it was, and stuff like that. So and the story. So I'm interested to see what the new mechanics are. I want to know if you could control animals, or if you could like what the new mechanics are. What makes this the sequel to what we played in the first one?
Yes.
I don't want to see more of the same stuff, but I know there's going to be some of the same stuff. But I want to see what takes it to the next level. And if they could show that tomorrow, that'd be great.
Yeah, that's where I'm at.
Why is it a next gen game, or
Yes, that's it. Like, I do expect the wind mechanic to come back. I love the way they did that. I expect to see the long stalks of grain just like flowing in the breeze and in the wind. Like, all of that stuff was really cool, and it's part of the aesthetic of Ghost of Tsushima. So I would expect stuff like that to carry over. The way the leaves always fell around you, but I expect also, like, when you're stepping, I expect a footprint to be there. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's like to stay,
like,
or to stay
yeah.
for long.
Or like
I expect
cool
improvements.
thing to be like, hey,
the
what if your sword could get knocked out of your hand and you got to go pick it up? Like, things like I want to see what what new things are in this one.
Wolf interacts.
And like,
yeah, like that wolf
gave us
interaction. Like, what are you gonna do?
And a whole new weapon, right? Like, God of War gave us a whole new weapon and a whole new shield with a whole new shield mechanic and a whole new set of weapon moves. Like, but they didn't reinvent the wheel. The rest of the combat was still the same, or same-ish, from God of War 2018. They just added a little bit to it to make it feel fresh, to make it feel fun, to give you another thing that you could use, another weapon in your arsenal. And so, like, that's that. I think those things are just baseline expectations. I really want this to look next gen, and I want it to feel next gen. That's what I really, really want, because one of the things that somebody mentioned, I don't know, heck, it might have been Faulkie. If people keep using UE5, and UE5 is getting a lot of love right now because of what happened with Expedition 33 and a couple other games that are coming out that are being produced in it. But, it might have been Game Logic. He was talking about how UE5, everything is going to start looking very samey. And because it's all the same, like, it's all the same software that is producing it, right? And so things are going to start looking a little bit more samey, and there's not going to be a lot of variety if every developer moves over to UE5 and becomes this uniform kind of, hey, you either develop for a PlayStation, its own in-house engine, or everybody else is just going to be switching to UE5. Like, and so I don't want it to feel samey in that sense, where, this is just Ghost of Tsushima with a little bit better of a paint job. Like, I want something fresh and I want it familiar and fresh at the same time, if that makes any sense. And if you like playing sequels, you know what I mean, because a good sequel does that. Mm-hmm. Like, a good sequel makes you play it and go, Spider-Man 2, perfect. Or better yet, Miles Morales, because it was the direct sequel, technically, to Spider-Man 2018. So, like, you have Miles Morales that felt so familiar with the combat, but the way the electric powers worked in Miles Morales made it feel completely different. Like, but there was that level of familiarity with the game and with the mechanics and with the systems. But just one little thing they added. Hey, listen, instead of focusing on the webbing side of it, we'll give him these venom powers, these lightning powers. And boom, done. The game felt completely different in combat and was so good for it. And so that's all I'm hoping for. That's all I am hoping for. Is it UE5? No, it's not UE5. But like just that samey look where everything starts looking identical is what I was mainly going for. And Bale Dante corrected me. He said it's Kurosawa, not Kira Sara, because I'm an American trying to read
You,
a foreign name. Uh,
you should try being an Australian pronouncing a foreign name.
you just say F it at some point and go, you know what? It's
Fuck
fine.
it, that bloke.
So that's it. I'm excited about this, and I can't. And it is one of two games between September and October that I am actually pre-ordering. One of them being Lost Soul Aside, this one being the other one, and Shinobi I'm getting in August. So like, I have my games cut out for me.
Forgot Shinobi was coming.
Yeah, right.
Fuck me. Again, we're spoiled for choice.
We're
There's too much coming.
spoiled as hell.
The harking back to what you said earlier, last year, at the end of last year, and Thrifty, you said I need to see what's coming. I don't know why. Basically being dragged off the cliff. It's been the case for a number of years now that PlayStation never tells us in a long lead in advance because they're terrified about having the Last of Us Part 2 drama happen again. But they'll give us snippets, 3 6 months, 3 6 months, 3 6 months. There's nothing suggest, and they show up at their investor talks and all the rest of it, saying, "Hey, we've got plenty in the pipeline," and they only ever give us 2, 3 major first-party or second-party titles every year. The rest of it all comes from the third-party publishers and the indies and the, say, timed exclusives, be it by choice or by force. Lost Souls Aside is a good example of, Black Myth Wukong and those sort of things. They've got so many games piling in that we're spoiled, and the quality is up and up and up. And UE5 helps the AA's and all the indies and that have options to get that quality level right up there with minimal budget and minimal inputs and small teams. But if anyone's playing Death Stranding 2 on the PS5 Pro, you can see what a beast that Decima engine is. There's that. Imagine that thing being wheeled out to make some of these other games if they decided to do second-party deals but use our engine. PlayStation's got 3 or 4 engines that can do some really powerful stuff, and their first-party studios aren't in a hurry to swap out and use UE5. Hence the reason why Sony bought into Epic, so they'd have a chunk out of the UE5 revenue. But a lot of third parties are switching off Unity and proprietary, like CDPR went away from their Red Engine and they went to UE5 because they're struggling to find people to work their Red Engine and the cost of running it's too much. But likewise, Xbox doesn't seem to have any appetite to maintain its proprietary engines anymore. ABK's having issues with theirs. Take-Two's having issue with theirs. There's a huge amount of investment to uplift these engines, and if you can get somebody else to do it for you, well, it makes business sense. But you're right. It does get to that. We're limited by what we can get somebody else's stuff to do. And then if we want it to do better, we've got to basically ask them to do it for us. So I think there's a market area for UE5 and some of those other, accessible engines. But where it really matters in the studios that are, really pushing the envelope, like look at Capcom, they've got that RE engine, it's singing like an absolute beast. There's enough variety out there, I think, is what I'm saying. And if they all started to capitulate and just go, we're just all going to use one engine for business decisions, I would be very, very vocal about that's a stupid thing to do.
Yeah. PlayStation has theirs kind of humming along and doing exactly what they're supposed to. Like look at Death Stranding 2 with Decima, right? Look at whatever Naughty Dog's engine is. That freaking engine is great. Look at Insomniac. They use their own engine. Like most.
Even Ghost of Yotei, they use there too.
They use their own engine also. But you talk about the RE engine. That engine was ass for a while.
And it was rough for Monster Hunter.
Yeah, because it wasn't built to be able to do open world. It was built to be able to do Resident Evil. I know
Yeah.
it's not. I know it's called the RE engine, and that doesn't stand for Resident Evil and blah blah blah. I get, sure. It was designed for Resident Evil. And so they took it and tried to fit it into an open world design, and it didn't work. I honestly think that's what the biggest problem with The Witcher, going from The Witcher 3 to Cyberpunk 2077, I don't think that engine was ready to be able to handle such complex like requirements and such beefy requirements. I don't think it was, and so it fell flat on its freaking face. And we see that all the Frankensteining they had to do with that made them go, you know what?
Yep.
We're kind of tired of this. We're gonna go to UE5.
Yeah, but remember the Decima engine wasn't originally built as an open world engine either. Decima was built for first person shooter in a lateral environment.
Repeat that? I'm sorry, I was reading Josh's comment. Go ahead.
The Decima engine, which is the Guerrilla first party engine, right? Yeah, that wasn't originally built for Horizon. They built that engine to do first party shooter games with Killzone. So that's
So
you know,
one company's
talking
better at scaling it to meet their needs,
Well,
or like
Well, I'm not saying it's a pissing contest, but where things start, and like we're saying with the RE engine, where things start, and if you put enough time and investment into them, you'll get them to a point where they will melt your face. But with I mean, imagine doing The Witcher 4 if they did that in the Decima engine, rather than doing it in Unreal Engine 5.
yeah.
It would be a completely different looking game. And I know PlayStation's had huge amount of trouble with Unreal Engine in the past because it took them 18 months to get Days Gone to work properly after they launched it, and they're still having trouble with the damn thing.
And wasn't it UE5 that was giving some of the PS5 Pros trouble with one of like the first? Yeah.
Yeah, if you turned on Lumen and Nanite and tried to run it on a PS5, you'd heat stroke the PS5. So and like the amount of compute power when those things are turned on and not optimized is nuts. Hence the reason why they went and did the deal and got all the engineering smarts brought in to be able to handle it, because so many of the small studios are starting to use that engine, and then Unity went and self-destructed and handed it all over to Unreal. There's not too many other engines you can use out in the public marketplace, but I'm not aware of any of the current games in development at PlayStation where they are specifically using UE5. They're all using a first party engine.
Right, and I was more saying like I just don't want that. That was just kind of an example of like, hey, I don't want things to get to that point with a PlayStation IP or with a PlayStation studio where they're like, you know what, we're just gonna make a game that looks like every other game that we've done because we know those sell and we know it. Like that's where I was more going with it, not in the sense of I think that's what they're doing, right? But like I'm so ready for this game because just of the aesthetic alone, like the way it looks has me super excited because I love the Japanese art. I love that style, that design, and I still Assassin's Creed Shadow hasn't dropped low enough for me to want to pick it up and play it. So like I'm actually really excited about this, and yeah, we get to see 20 minutes of new gameplay tomorrow, 2 p.m. Pacific time, 5 p.m. Eastern, and 10 p.m. BST, 11 p.m. CEST. I'm sure everybody knows what those last two are except me, but that's fine. Basically, I'll be able to watch it at, I'm guessing, 4. So that'll be really fun. 7 a.m. Australia. Hey, there you go.
Yep.
That's awesome. 7 a.m. Australia AEST. Nice. By the way,
they're so kind to us.
Hey, that's not bad. Last time, didn't they do it at like 3 a.m. for y'all or some shit? Like,
oh no, that's what Xbox does. They do stupid shit at like between midnight and 3 a.m. PlayStation's usually the later times, so it's 6, 7, 8. So.
So, guys, we are going to go ahead and wrap up. I have to drive 45 minutes away to my warehouse. I can't just start my day in my driveway like I normally do. So I got to be up a little earlier than normal because I'm now on light duty for 2 weeks. Yay! It sucks. But anyways,
Oops.
good news is I will be able to do some videos again for the channel because I am now capped at a maximum of 40 hours a week, which means no more 60-hour weeks until my ankle is better.
What
So,
what are you doing after Wednesday lunch then?
what do you
Like,
mean?
but for 40 hour, if you capped at 40 hours, you'll
No
be finished
doubt.
by lunchtime on Wednesday.
No,
Like,
no doubt. Like that's what I told my wife. I was like, honey, I normally work about 11 hours a day during the summer. Like I'm sitting here thinking like to myself, hey, I got 33 hours on Wednesday. Does that mean Thursday I work 7 hours and I'm off Friday, Saturday, Sunday? Because that that's a pretty cool schedule. But no, it'll probably be like 8 to 4 or something Monday through Friday. And so, anyways, tonight was a great show. Faulkie, where can folks find you, man?
you find me on Twitter at Faulkie87. You'll see that I put a couple of posts up the last few days that have kicked off some interesting conversations. You can find me poking around a few podcasts. I think I'm on Mooches tomorrow. I think I was on with Brap earlier. Yeah, see how we go. But you'll
They
see.
outed you. The chat was like, "Hey,
They did.
Thrifty, he wasn't in a business meeting. He was cheating on you with Brap." That's what they told me.
Well, to be fair, halfway through that hour I was supposed to be on with Brap, I spent most of it in a bloody phone call for work purposes. So,
Oh, that's gross.
and hey, he started before you, so
No,
it
I'm
was
totally
just
joking. I
tardy
was just
getting
giving
over
you
here,
shit
so.
because Hero pointed it out at the beginning, and I was like, I'm gonna file that away just to screw with Faulkie.
Well, I'm supposed to be showing up here a bit more frequently, so
Yes.
if you leave the front door open, I'll keep walking in.
Yes, you are. Speaking of that, a guy who's been showing up a lot more frequently, who's never allowed to take vacation ever again,
That's it.
Jez, thanks for coming on, man. Let the audience who already knows where they can find you, let them know where they can find you.
Sure, yeah. Find me over on Jez7780X, and then Gaming Grindhouse on Monday nights. And I might do a live stream tomorrow of the Ghost of Yotei. I'll see if I could do it. I'm not sure. I got stuff
He's like,
to do.
man, I
tell you, it's
actually
been
have
crazy
to
week.
work tomorrow. What
I
is
know it's a
this?
crazy week. It's like, yeah, I got a lot of things going on. I have a busy weekend up ahead, so like I don't even know when I'm able to stream or get thoughts out with all the stuff going on, because I still, like, even with the show and stuff, I wanted to talk a lot more about it. So I appreciate you letting me on your show tonight, because yeah, there's just so much going on, and like this, and I think there's a lot of like crazy reactions and a lot of just stuff going on, but we're getting great games too in the midst of it all, so that's always a good thing.
Yeah.
And yeah, so keep an eye out for some of my screenshots that I'll be posting on X that I took tonight, and then and maybe I'll do a stream tomorrow. Just keep it locked to Gaming Grindhouse. Hit the subscribe button here, hit the like button, but also go find these fine gentlemen on their channels as well. And you can find me over at the Gaming Grindhouse.
Yeah.
Monday nights and all throughout the week I do other things.
And guys, Jez is right. Hit the subscribe button before you head out. There's been a couple new names in here. A couple folks who came in, said hi to Jez, and have been staying to interact. So really appreciate the crossover there. Faulkie always brings in a good audience with him. People love hearing what the PlayStation accountant has to say. No, I'm just kidding. You're not a PlayStation accountant, but still, we love hearing those things. We love just chopping up and talking games, and so really happy about that. Really good interaction from the chat tonight. Super appreciative of y'all. If y'all don't show up, then we're just three dudes talking to each other. So, anyways, guys, enjoy the show tomorrow. Be on the lookout because I have been streaming more lately. So be on the lookout. Hit the notification bell. I am really enjoying streaming and playing games with the community. Even if y'all are just talking about stuff in the chat and I can interact with y'all, it's a lot of fun. And right now we've been going through Grand Blue Fantasy Relink. And according to the PlayStation, like the PlayStation ticker, I'm already like 38% of the way through the game, which is really weird because I only have like 5 hours in it. And so I don't. Is it only like a 20-hour game? I don't know. We'll figure that out. But like, I don't know how I'm so far ahead according to the little ticker. But anyways, y'all have a wonderful night. And as always, thanks to the guests. Go follow them and stay